a handsome and academic young man, is very popular among his classmates at school. But he already has a girlfriend, whose name is Zhao Qian. She also attracts a lot of attention for being very beautiful. Wang Bin seems to be very successful and, therefore, needs a job to make his girlfriend happy. He comes from a common family and does everything to make money. But no matter how hard he works, in the end, everything is spent on dates because he has no dating experience. Therefore, he does everything to please his girlfriend. The protagonist is very intelligent and has an admirable talent in game, even breaking the record of a game, being able to complete it in less time and obtain the largest amount of resources. With this, he has the chance to gain the ability to travel to the apocalyptic world, but if he dies, he cannot return to the real world. The greater the danger, the greater the gain. Wang Bin is worried that he may die, but ends up accepting because he can easily win the game and make a lot of money from it. He gets furious because nothing happened, but a message appears informing the rule. The first is, as mentioned before, that if he dies in the game, he will also die in the real world. The second is that every time a player enters the apocalyptic world, they need to survive 7 days to return to the real world. The third is that there is a time difference between the apocalyptic world and the real world. 1 day in the real world equals 7 days in the apocalyptic world. The fourth is that players can enter and exit freely, with any non-living object. Finally, the apocalyptic world has no rules, being very dangerous and cruel. Therefore, it is up to him to prepare, as the journey to this world will take place in 4 hours. The young man already thinks about what he will buy, but finds his wallet empty because of a meeting he had last week. The only option is to ask friends for money. When he gets there, they realize it's to ask for money, but being good friends, they help him and give advice. The protagonist worries about their expenses because of the borrowed money, but they say it's no problem, just keep treating them like brothers and he can ask. The young man is moved by the act of kindness and, when he returns with his fortune, will make sure his friends enjoy life. Wang being a good boyfriend, he calls his girlfriend to say he will work the next day. At that moment, she tries to say something, but can't, because the protagonist always interrupts her. Unfortunately for the young man, she was with another guy in a car, basically betraying him. Wang finally goes to the other world and uses his strategies to do well, demonstrating he is very intelligent. He says this world seems very easy, but he always feels like someone is following him. A being appears behind the wall and the young man wonders if it's a zombie or a person, and that people in an apocalyptic world are much scarier. The boy then decides to hide, because if he dies, he cannot return to the real world, so he climbs the stairs to take the lead. A girl appears dressed as a fish and tells him to give her food and water, otherwise she will kill him. He gets panicked and says there's nothing, but she knows he's lying because he's carrying a backpack. The girl gives him 3 seconds to hand over the backpack, and the boy, in his mind, says he made a mistake, as he should have hidden the backpack and explored the place. And without his supplies, he doesn't know how he'll survive for 7 days. They start fighting, but the boy proves inferior and is pressed against the wall, which ends up being his chance to attack, and he defeats the girl with a stun gun. He says that even though she's hungry, she can't steal or threaten anyone. Seeing her in a pitiful situation, he gives her water and food, but in return, he borrows her dagger. As the young man leaves the building, 2 armed men are waiting for him, and he says that if he hands over everything he has, they won't kill him. Wang is attacked and defends the blow. The other thug tries to attack him, but the protagonist manages to strike first and wound him. The bald one tells his comrades to stop the bloodshed, as it will attract many zombies. Wang flees and gets trapped in a dead-end alley that allows the thugs to surround him, leaving him with no escape. Fortunately, the girl he helped returns the favor and helps him against the thugs. She retrieves her dagger and manages to defeat the bald one, while the other thug flees. Wang wants to go after him, but the girl stops him, as with all the noise he made, he will surely attract many zombies. The boy thinks his gamble paid off, as the girl seems to be a good person and could be a good partner in this apocalyptic world. As the boy is about to thank her, he finds the girl threatening him again and telling him to drop the stun gun on the ground. The boy makes a deal with her. If he can stay in this place for 7 days, she can eat what he brought. In fact, he won't even be able to eat it all. She accepts the proposal, and they make peace. She explains to him that he can't enter her room without her permission and that he'll stay in another room. The boy introduces himself and says his name, and the girl also introduces herself as Guan. Finally, he can rest in his room. Analyzing the room, we see that the windows were closed by the girl and that, inside, there should be a large family living in this place. In this case, the protagonist rummaged through the room. In the wardrobe there are only old and torn clothes, but in a drawer, he finds jewels, which could be worth hundreds of thousands in the modern world. Wang imagines that if he takes this to the real world, he can sell it and become rich. To give you an idea, he thinks he'll be at the peak of his life and can marry his girlfriend. Poor guy, while he's there thinking about the future with her, she's there with another man having fun. Before that, Wang will ask Guan if these jewels belong to her, and ends up finding Nua. The girl, puzzled, asks if he wants to retrieve his food. The boy asks if she wants to sell the jewels to him, and she says if he wants, he can take them, as no one wants those things. He's confused by this, but it turns out that these jewels can be found in many houses, so they're worthless. The young man is even moved. After all, he found his source of wealth, and the girl will also help him, especially since he gave her a lot of food. The girl then takes Wang to see a safe in the room. She has tried to open it several times, but all have failed, so she ends up giving up. Wang says that usually a chest like this one is connected to an alarm, and if you make several mistakes, it will be automatically reported to the police, but now the power is off, so they can try to open it. While he tries to open it, Guan tries to find something else for him. To Wang's delight, he manages to open it, and there are many precious things inside the chest, and, as he's not stupid, he starts packing his backpack to take it. The girl calls him an idiot because, to her, the things he's taking are worth less than candy. The boy says that these jewels she claims are useless, he'll be able to make them valuable and then trade them for more food. And that turns out to be good because it makes her help him even more. Wang asks the system that, after the 7 days pass, when he returns to this world again, where will he appear? The system replies that he will appear 100 meters from the last place where he was last time. Since this world is completely lost, the food Wang brings is a luxury, which drives people crazy for it. The boy asks why she doesn't plant and build a strong defense network. It turns out that after several years of hard work, the government has established various safe places to live, having a high wall that zombies can't pass through. Everyone who survived wants to go to this place, but few can get in. The government has achieved self-sufficiency, developing secure locations and, at the same time, studying solutions for the virus. As much as these places are better, food is also scarce, making it impossible to return to the previous standard of living. The girl asks about his job and if jewels can really be replaced with food. Wang simply says he's a businessman and he collects jewels and gold to trade with high-class people. She then tells him she will help him, and he cannot go out alone at night because he set traps nearby. While they were talking, someone stepped on one of his traps. The people from the Tiger Red gang who stepped on the trap, in this case, are the boys who attacked them earlier. Guan, in this situation, tells Wang to grab the things for them to flee. The one who seems to be the leader is called Zen and tells them to look for the girl. She leads him to a safe but uncomfortable place because they cannot go up to the second floor as the stairs connecting it collapsed, but if they don't make any movement or noise, the zombies won't come for them. Since there's nothing else to do, he grabs his phone to listen to music and says the girl is already back to normal after the previous fights. Guan starts crying because she hasn't heard music in a long time, and this music brings back memories of her parents. They start listening to music together, and the next time he comes back, Wang will bring a phone for her since she likes listening to music. The young man even seems to fall in love with her, but he pushes that out of his head because he's already in a relationship. They end up sleeping together while listening to music. The next day, they are talking about the Tiger Red gang. It is one of the 4 major gangs in the city and is in charge of the west of the city. She has met them several times, so they probably already know her approximate location. The gang leader is Tiger's brother, who has more than 60 subordinates and more than a dozen weapons. They stay in the tallest building, which is in Junowan, in the west of the city. There's a supermarket in it, and all the supplies from that market belong to them. However, there are 3 more gangs. The Kwang Cha gang is in the east of the city and is the most powerful. Its leader is Brother Xing, who has more than 100 people and more than 20 weapons. The next one is the Giant Bear gang, which is in the north. The gang leader is Brother Xiong. He has just under 100 people and a dozen weapons. Finally, the weakest gang, the Feiying gang, located in the south. Their leader is called Fei and has 4 subordinates with 7 to 8 weapons, and they've received plenty of explosives and grenades. Despite being the weakest, the other gangs dare not provoke them. The 4 gangs control each area of the city and do not infringe on each other. Apart from these 4 gangs, there are some scattered people who gather in groups. Others live alone, like Guan, and there are probably fewer than 1,000 people in this city. Most of the 2 million natives of this place have turned into zombies, and others have fled elsewhere. Wang thinks this is really an apocalypse, due to the city's population decline. Changing the subject, the young man asks if she knows where the city's vault is. She replies that she didn't pay much attention to it because when the apocalypse started, the vaults were looted and the valuables were all taken. So, there shouldn't be anything left, but if there is a place where this gold is hidden, it's likely in the building where the Kwang Cha gang is located. That was the city's largest bank, and the escort trucks would take the money there to be guarded. Apparently, he seems to give up on taking these riches because it's a powerful gang, and Guan says it's not good to provoke them. Guan and Wang will stay in this house for the next few days. In recent days, people have passed through the downstairs, apparently from the Tiger Red gang. Because there are zombies in this building, people dare not approach, and no one would be crazy to live with zombie. Finally, the day comes for Wang to return to the real world, and he leaves his food with Guan. She worries about him, thinking he won't survive without this food. Wang tells her not to worry and to hide with the food and water, and that he will also return in 7 days. This scene is quite sad. She hugs him and asks if she can go with him, but as one of the rules stated, a living being cannot leave this world. The two promise things to each other, and Wang is ready to go back. Wang promises to bring good things to compensate for Guan's help, and when she calls him, he's no longer in the room. Wang returns to the real world and interrupts a couple in the middle of the forest. Then he calls Zhao Qian to say he's rich. She answers and says she's looking for a house with her family. The girl's lover whispers in her ear that if she breaks up with Wang, he will give her the house as promised, and finally they agree to meet at the office. Wang Bin then appears all dirty in a jewelry store to sell his precious jewel. He asks the shop assistant if her manager is present because he wants to have a business talk with him. The girl says the manager is very busy at the moment and asks him to tell her what he wants. He insists if she can't call him and to end the matter. She tells the boy to leave and not to interfere in their business. The boy, with a smile on his face, shows her one of his gemstones and asks if she can verify it. She belittles the gemstone. The girl is anxious and asks if he knows she can call the police and arrest him if he presents counterfeits. Two men are in the audience watching everything, and suddenly another man comes in through the door. Continuing, the girl says the boy is trying to deceive her and that if he doesn't leave, she will call security. When the boy left, a man asked him to stay, introduced himself as a jeweler and store manager, and asked to see the jewel. The boy shows the stone, and the man is totally surprised by what he saw. The girl interrupts the moment and says the boy is causing trouble. The man, annoyed, tells her to shut up and calls her a prostitute, and tells her to prepare a cup of tea for the young man. She then does as she was asked, terrified of what happened. The two go to the room to talk, and the buyer asks if he wants to sell the jewel. The boy replies yes, and that if the price offered is too low, he will find another store to sell, but if the price satisfies him, the jewel will be his. Although Wang Bin doesn't understand business, he thinks this jewel must be worth at least 100,000 yuan and can't let the man lower the price. The manager, sweating, says no matter how much he looks like a poor person on the outside, he's displaying the jewel calmly, and so he can't see through the boy. The manager comments that he seems to be from a wealthy family and that if he gives a low price, he will surely leave immediately. The boy is nervous because the man hasn't given a price yet and wonders if it's because he pretended too much, but either way, he must keep calm because this is a psychological game. Finally, the manager gives an incredible price of 8 million, but Wang Bin thinks he must be joking. The panicked manager thinks the boy wasn't satisfied with the offer and adds another 500,000. The boy drinks some tea to avoid dying, and luckily, he didn't agree from the start because he didn't expect him to add another 500,000. Wang Bin is satisfied with the price and will sell it to the manager. He adds that if it weren't for his family's financial difficulties, he wouldn't bear to sell it. The man asks which wealthy family he comes from, but the boy asks him not to ask that. Wang Bin says he has 9 more jewels and asks if the man has the ability to obtain them, and the ecstatic guy replies yes. Finally, everything went well, but not for the woman who started the fight. But at least she probably learned something from it. The young man now takes a car and goes to the place where his girlfriend arranged to meet. He arrives at the place and doesn't feel very comfortable. It's his first time in an upscale building, but it doesn't matter because he's going to buy a house for his girlfriend and her parents. His girlfriend arrives with another man by her side, and the guy asks who he is. When she's about to say something, her current partner asks what kind of vision she had before, and how she found a man dressed as a beggar to be her boyfriend. People around watch this, and some even comment on how the guard let him in since this place is only for wealthy people. Zhao Qian tells Wang Bin that they should end it because they're about to graduate and will have to face society, and now she has found someone who can take care of her and is willing to buy her a house, and if he truly loves her, he should be happy for her. Wang Bin, at the club, says he can take care of her too, and if the time they spent together isn't better than a concrete box. He wonders if the other guy didn't force her to be with him, and it's not to be afraid to say it, because he's here. The girl says that's enough and asks if there's no way to end this without being unpleasant. The rich boy interrupts and tells her not to point fingers at him, or he'll have someone cut off her hand. Wang Bin says, "What's wrong with pointing fingers at you? What will happen if I point fingers at you?" His ex-girlfriend tries to stop him because he won't win against her current boyfriend. The outcome couldn't be different. The guy says he has already tasted Zhao Qian's body and asks if he still wants her. Then, what we were all waiting for happened. Wang Bin gives a very strong kick to the boy's chest, throwing him backward. Zhao Qian holds Wang Bin, but he is very angry and tells her to take her hands off him because he can take care of himself. The girl then slaps him in the face and says they're done and she would never be with trash like him. The girl goes to see if her boyfriend is okay, and Wang says that so many years of feelings are not as good as a car and a house. The guards come to take the boy away and he asks if that's how they treat their guests. The woman says he's not a customer and asks if he can buy a house, as if it were a rhetorical question, and the cheapest house costs 5 or 6 million. She adds that even if he stopped eating or drinking for a year, he still wouldn't be able to afford even a bathroom. The woman is so clueless that she says poor high school boys like him should stop dreaming during the day. She almost sold the house and asks what makes him think he can beat up her client. Wang Bin asks if 6 million is really too much, and another guy shows up telling him not to say such arrogant words. Then he also scolds the woman for not being able to take care of a child and, if anyone asks, don't say she was taught by him. This same man introduces himself as the sales director of the place and apologizes for them. But he simply didn't create problems like he did with one of his clients. And if he's not a client, he'll have to report the boy. Wang Bin says he wanted to buy a house, but the quality of these houses is so low that he lost interest. The employee and the director are perplexed by this, and the other clients laugh at the boy. As he is leaving, he says he hopes Zhao Qian will be happy and not regret it in the future. As he turns around, the director asks what is the cost price of the house he is looking for. In short, he is looking for a house of at least 20 million or more to be worthy of him. The director is annoyed by this answer and says he can meet his needs. A house is shown to us with a base value of 20 million and, if he wants, the director can take him there. But first the boy must show if he has that amount to buy. No problem. But if he shows this evidence, the three will have to kneel before him and take 3 turns in the kneeling room. The director says there is no problem and that if he shows that amount, he will be the most illustrious client. The guard says he shouldn't have that amount, just look at his poor and sour demeanor, and that the manager is just trying to teach him and shame him. Zhao Qian tells her boyfriend to forget about it and not argue with trash like him. But the rich man doesn't give a damn and curses. The boy advances to attack Wang Bin, but he is knocked out with a gold bar. The people around, including the manager, are surprised. Zhao Qian then looks at her ex-boyfriend. The boy bids her farewell, saying that she left him for someone who doesn't even care about her and that she really isn't worthy of being his girlfriend. The manager is shocked and comments that he just threw a big gold bar, and Wang Bin finally proves what he wanted. Furthermore, he says it's one of his accounts with less money. Again, the manager is surprised, as there are 70 million in that account. Meanwhile, the employee tries to reverse the situation by asking if he could have edited the photo to try to deceive him. The manager apologizes and now Wang Bin will be a VIP client. The guards ask if the previous deal still stands, and the manager tells the 3 to kneel and take 3 turns in the hallway, otherwise they can pack their bags and leave immediately. Obviously they will comply with this decision. The manager asks if Wang Bin is satisfied, and he replies that he's not, but he'll forgive them for now. To ensure Wang's satisfaction, the manager tells them to do 100 laps, and when he's satisfied, they'll see the mansion. In his new home, taking a bath, the young man says he bought this luxury mansion for 30 million yuan, not out of anger, but because he needs a private and completely secure place. He also mentions that he needs to return to the apocalyptic world soon, but first, he needs to prepare well. After all, there are more riches waiting for him. The friends who lent him money at the beginning comment that Wang Bin didn't tell them anything, even though something so big happened, and no matter how much Zhao Qian betrayed him, he's glad he woke up and wasn't fooled by her again. But the problem is that he punched the girl's boyfriend and he'll surely want revenge. Wang Bin doesn't answer the boy's call, and as they're heading to the dorm, one of them says a scammer sent him a message saying someone transferred 1 million to his bank account, and these boys used an account to act as a bank. The other boy says he also received this text message, and the other wonders if it's because of the website they accessed last night. They log into the app to check if it's true and are amazed because they really have 1 million in each account. They then don't know what to do, as they've never seen so much money in their accounts before. Wang Bin calls them, and the boy asks why he didn't talk to them when something like this happened. Wang Bin is going to his parents' house, and the boy tells him to come back because he heard that Master Li's bodyguard is very big and he'll seek revenge. Wang Bin pretends not to know this Master Li and asks if the money landed in their account. The boys ask if he transferred that 1 million, and he replies that the money is nothing special, and they need to accept the gift. The boy is worried about him, because how can 1 billion be nothing? Wang Bin summarizes that it's nothing to him, and they can say he won the lottery. The boys are curious how much he won, and he says it was 1 billion, which scares them. They are touched that Wang Bin remembered them. Turns out they always helped him in the past, and this 1 million is nothing. The protagonist adds that there are more things waiting for them in the future. One of his friends wonders if it's true that he broke up with Zhao Qian and hit Master Li, and even though he's rich now, he needs to hide, because Master Li is very powerful and he fears he'll try to get revenge. Wang Bin tells them not to worry, because for now, he's not going back, he'll stay in his hometown and, therefore, won't talk to them for a while, but when he returns, he'll invite them for some drinks. Prota didn't return home for a long time because he was very busy following Zhao Qian and studying, but, changing the scene, his mother asks why he didn't let them know he would return in advance, and what seems to be his father asks why he suddenly returned. Since he returned home suddenly, his parents were worried, thinking he had caused some trouble in the city. He tells his parents that he won the lottery and wants to give them money. He didn't lie on purpose to his parents, but he can't say he went to the apocalyptic world because they would think he's crazy. Despite returning to his hometown and giving them money, his main goal is to find someone else. He meets a man and the man asks him why he's there, as it's not yet school holiday time. We find out that this man is his third uncle, and Wang Bin wants to ask him a question, but before that, he gives him a bottle of wine. The uncle thanks him and asks what he wants, stating he'll do his best to help if it's within his power. When the uncle was young, he enjoyed hunting in the mountains, having plenty of weapons at his home. However, in the past 2 years, the country has become stricter with gun control, so he rarely goes hunting in the mountains now. The uncle allows the boy to ask what he wants, and Wang Bin wants to buy his air rifle. The uncle is surprised, not understanding why he wants it, and asks if he's not going to do something illegal. The young man says not to misunderstand him and that he'll soon find out. He also says that he and his classmates have found a remote place to practice and gain some experience. Wang Bin says there are many small animals, and to train his shooting skills with them, he thought of buying his air rifle. When the young man mentioned money, the uncle said it was okay, just that he didn't do illegal things or commit crime, and not to mention the money because they are family. The boy then waits while his uncle fetches the rifle, and when he brings it, the young man says it's the first time he's really received a rifle. Although it's an air rifle, it's powerful enough to kill a boar. The man then gives him the gun and a bottle of anesthetic, and one must be careful when using it, as too much spray can be fatal, and he's not to be seen with a gun in hand, as he could be arrested. After taking the gun and leaving the money for his parents, the boy returned to the city. This time, he not only prepared enough food but also bought a cell phone with 10 batteries for Guan. In addition to the air rifle, he was also carrying a new dagger, a machete, and a detonator that was used to bomb past mountains. He says that 1 day in the real world is 7 days in the apocalyptic world. He doesn't know how Guan has been in these last days, and wonders if she has been captured by the Tiger Red Gang. Finally, time is up, and he goes to the apocalyptic world. In the middle of the process, it is said that there is a person alive around 10 meters from his destination, but the boy doesn't change the destination and confirms to continue. Now that he's back, this time he needs to get more valuable items and gold bar. In this, Guan appears crying because this is her last snack, and if she knew this would happen, she would have saved and eaten less. The young man finds her, and she cries because he didn't abandon her. Guan hugs her crying, saying that he's back. Wang Bin calls her silly, saying he promised her he would return. Wang Bin says he brought plenty of delicious food, so they should talk while they eat. He notices many wounds on her body and asks what happened. She replies that everything happened as soon as he left. It seems that the leader of the Tiger Red Gang is offering a generous reward for their heads. Many people will come looking for them because she was worried about him, went to check on him, and at that moment, heard relevant news about him, and the result was that she fell into a trap and was almost caught several times. The boy ponders this, as since she had no way to contact him, she risked her life to find him when she heard news about him. With that, he hugs the girl and promises to make the people who intimidated her pay for it, adding that he will make the Tiger Red Gang disappear. She seems happy with this, and the boy shows the things he brought for her. She takes the rifle and is surprised he really has a weapon. This gun will be good for her as it has low noise and strong concealment, so she thanks him for the gift. Now he shows what must be by far the most important thing for her. Plenty of food that will last the whole month. She wonders if she's dreaming. She cries as she eats such delicious food and asks why Wang isn't eating. He doesn't eat because he's not hungry and also because he likes to see her eat. While she insists on eating, the boy shows his other gift and reveals a backpack full of batteries that will be enough to use for a long time. Guan cries over all this, as since the beginning of the end of the world and the death of her parents, no one has treated her as well as Wang Bin. He then tells her not to cry and, as soon as she finishes eating, to listen to music. During the boy's absence, there was a conflict between the Tiger Red group and the Giant Bear group due to lack of food, but both sides only injured a few people. As a result, some people were preparing to evacuate in search of bases built and managed by the government. Wang Bin thinks now is the perfect time. We see a sign with shots, and Wang asks Guan if she's never used a gun before, as she's very talented. Due to the power and range of this rifle being small, she estimates it's difficult to take down a person from over 50 meters away. But that's not a problem, they can get closer to shoot, as the sound produced by the shot is very low, making it hard to be discovered. She asks if they really stand a chance to get rid of the Tiger Red gang and the Guang Cha gang. The boy replies they can defeat them, but they can't act head-on. They have to let the gangs kill each other to separate them. And tonight they will cause a little trouble. The boy says he was thinking that gold bars are very heavy and nobody wants them, so probably those gold bars must be inside the bank's vault. If they want to get into the bank, they need to unite the Guang Cha gang with the Tiger Red gang, and let them destroy each other. Their main goal is to make the four gangs fight each other, as it will be easier to find the gold that way. The girl asks how they will make them fight each other. He says he brought the detonator because only the Giant Bear gang has explosives and grenades, and if they blow up the Tiger Red gang's warehouse, they will surely get angry and fight against the Giant Bear gang to get revenge. Guan is impressed with this plan and says Wang is very clever. The boy says the only problem is the number of guards that must be protecting these warehouses and that it's a bit difficult for them to sneak in. Guan says that at night there's no electricity and they usually sleep at 8 or 9 o'clock. And she's also quite familiar with the Tiger Red gang's base. There are also a large number of entrances and exits, and they can't watch all of them. Finally, she says she knows a place where they can safely enter. After Guan says she knows a place where they can safely enter, Wang Bin says if that's true, it will be very beneficial for them. The boy comments that since the gang is after them, they'll show what they can do. The excited boy says they'll prepare everything immediately and start at night. It's already night, and they break into a place. Wang Bin says this place is really unprotected and a man appears inside the house sleeping. The duo won't do anything to this man as it may alert the other, and they'll sneak up to the 5th floor. Guan asks why go to the 5th floor, and the answer is simple. There are only a few guards on the 1st floor, and further up, they're asleep. And this proves that the valuable items aren't hidden here, but on the upper floor. Following this analogy, the 4th floor should be where the elites and pillars of the gang are, and their leader, Tiger, must live on the 5th floor, where the supplies are stored. Their goal is to go up to the 5th floor and find out where they store supplies and then blow them up. The duo quietly climbs the stairs and are on the 3rd floor. They're crawling so as not to be discovered, and Wang Bin comments they shouldn't take advantage of this situation. They reach the 4th floor, and the man on the floor has been anesthetized. Finally, they reach the 5th floor, and the man says unfortunately, there's less and less food. Wang Bin and Guan eavesdrop behind the wall on the conversation between the two guards. They say the estimate is that the food will last for at most a little over a month. The bald guy asks if they can defeat the gang of giant bears and get their food. He says they should try, even if they can't do it, because if they don't, they'll starve sooner or later. He adds that it would be difficult as they have grenades and explosive. It wouldn't be easy to capture them. So, he thinks they should evacuate as soon as possible with the food. The bald man signals to be quiet because if Brother Tiger hears this, he'll lose his head. Wang Bin spies the area and says this seems to be Brother Tiger's room. The guards end up going to the bathroom, giving the duo a chance to proceed with their objective. The protagonist hears a snoring sound, so this is really Brother Tiger's room. The locked room next to him must be used by Brother Tiger to store material. Guan comments to Wang Bin that she heard them say that sooner or later, the Tiger gang will fight the Giant Bear gang and asks if he really needs provocation. Wang Bin responds that it's not easy to explain right now, but in short, he'll leave again in 7 days, and the Red Tiger gang supplements will last another month. Their time is limited, so Wang Bin can't wait, and the easiest way to get them to fight directly is to not let them have a place to go. The girl understands, and Wang says the key to this padlock must be with Tiger. They can't confirm this without getting in, so if they make a mistake, they'll die right here. Guan tells Wang not to worry and that she'll take care of it with a piece of wire. The girl comments that she can open a regular lock with a piece of wire and, since the gate lock is apparently a bit larger, it won't be difficult for her to unlock it. Wang Bin says Guan is amazing, and switching scenes, a zombie enters the building and wakes up the guard. He startles and screams for help. He tells everyone to wake up and that the zombies are invading. Other members of the gang hear something and say that something happened on the 2nd floor, wondering if the giant bear gang is attacking them. Finally, the duo manages to open the door and hit it. This is where they store their supplies. The young man already wants to prepare the explosives and leave, but Guan is excited about so many bags of rice on the premises. She then says that bombing them would be a waste and that she will take at least one bag of rice. Wang Bin tells her not to take it, as the rice bag is too heavy and it will be harder for them to escape. Finally, he tells her to trust him and that he won't let her go hungry. At that moment, the duo hears screams calling for Tiger's brother, as a group of zombies has invaded the building. Guan, whispering, says that the zombies must have entered through the hole they came in. Wang Bin tells her to prepare the bombs and get out of here immediately. They need to take advantage of this moment and the gang is focused on defending themselves. The bald man knocks on the door to warn about the zombie invasion that has invaded our territory. When he tells Tiger's brother to hurry, the bald man punches him in the face. The leader then comments that he warned him not to wake up while he was sleeping. And hey, what's back there? It looks like he wasn't just sleeping, huh? The hairy one in fear says they didn't want to wake up, but it turns out the zombies invaded. Tiger wonders how there can be a zombie invasion, but doesn't finish the sentence, implying that someone from the giant bear gang invaded the place. He goes to the room that stores the supplements, and wonders why there's so much spilled wine. Soon he sees the dynamite, and everything explodes, throwing Tiger and the other members away. Tiger wonders who used the explosives to blow up their supplies and, very angry, shouts that it was the Tiger Red gang. Wang Bin, in the ventilation, overhears two gang members talking, who heard that it was the giant bear gang that used zombies against them. The boy comments that it seems like the plan worked, now they just have to wait for the two gangs to fight each other. But it won't be like that. Wang Bin is already thinking of a way to make the Kwang Cha gang and the Fei Ying gang fight each other too. Guan comes down and warns that there are no guards, so Wang Bin can come down without problem. Soon the zombies appear at the door and end up entering. Guan doesn't understand why there are so many zombies, and Wang tells her to be careful. The zombies advance and Guan shoots at them, but since there are so many, she will try to distract them. But the worst happened. A gang member is seen by Guan and says that it wasn't the giant bear gang that destroyed the warehouse. The girl, without thinking twice, shoots the man and defeats him. A zombie then almost catches Guan from behind, but Wang Bin finishes off that zombie. Finally, he talks to Guan, who is more reliable to use cold weapons to deal with zombie. The girl replies that she also thinks so, and Wang Bin comments that he has killed many zombies in game, but this is the first time he faces real zombie. They then run to create a path and escape, and everything seems to have worked out because they are already home. Wang Bin comments that their luck is that few zombies entered quietly, and otherwise, the zombies would have finished them off. Guan, sad, says that after all this, she is tired and hungry, and Wang Bin comments that, for today's success, they should celebrate, so she can eat as much as she wants. He then warns that he will get his food in his bag right away. Guan is happy to see so much food, and the meal begins, and the boy is shocked by the way she eats, despite knowing her for a long time. Wang Bin also needs to take advantage of this and opens a can of beer to drink. But Guan also wants to try. The boy asks what kind of beer a girl drinks and tells the girl that he brought a lot of juice and soda. Guan says she's not a kid anymore, and Wang Bin says that besides age, other things are certainly great. Those who understood. The boy then says he's going to his room to get ready and change clothes, and he tells the girl that she should also rest earlier after she stops eating. When she notices that Wang has gone to the room, she decides to grab the beer to try, and she wonders what the flavor must be. The boy in his room says that while they were fighting zombies, there were notifications on his phone and asks to show them. A panel of skills and attributes appears, for him to better understand his own attributes, and the boy replies that he already knows that, and asks if the system made any mistakes because he exercises every day at school. He goes on to say that he is always among the top 10 in all school sports events he has participated in. His body should be stronger than most people's and he doesn't understand why all his attributes, except agility, are low. The system responds that there's no need to be shocked, as the average attribute values are in line with the standard of this apocalyptic world. This is normal for those who live in this apocalyptic world, as the physical fitness of people who manage to survive is very high. It's much higher than in the real world, and they need to face zombies and other danger. The system leaves a warning that he can use the accumulated gold to make upgrades to the system and become the strongest. We receive information that the second system update can activate the lottery system. Prizes include food, weapons, attribute enhancements, and various skill. Wang Bin says it's like the PC version, but he wonders if it can really be used to improve his body. The boy asks how much gold he needs for the first system upgrade. The system responds that for the first upgrade, 1,000 kilograms of gold are required. After the upgrade, a sound space will be opened in the item box, which can be accessed anytime and anywhere. The boy then says that if gold is 400 grams and 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, then it will be 400,000 grams. And the system comes to say that 1,000 kilograms are 400 million. With that, the boy asks if the system isn't being too mean, and the system tells him not to be discouraged because this transaction definitely is worth the money, and claims not to be an intimidation. After unlocking the lottery system, the boy can obtain a skill book in it, with which he can learn the skills described in the book and significantly increase his survival probability. Skills can also be enhanced by killing zombies, making Wang Bin stronger and stronger. And most importantly, his skills and attributes can also be used in the real world. The system then finishes by saying that the upgrade definitely is worth the money, and tells the protagonist to think about his real world because he can become the strongest using his money. Wang Bin agrees that one cannot only think about the danger of this apocalyptic world, and now that you have offended masterly, you will certainly need some skills to defend yourself. However, Wang asks if there will be any side effects after he gets stronger, for example, going bald, but the system replies not to worry because there will be no side effects. Wang Bin bids farewell, saying he'll call on him when needed, and it seems his main goal now is gold. Changing the scene, we see Guan sleeping because she's drunk. The guy seems to be angry, saying she drank all his beer stock, but we know he's a good guy and, despite her drinking his beer, he grabs her by the waist and takes her to bed. The boy comments that although she looks skinny, she's quite heavy when holding her arm. He looks at her and blushes, commenting that Guan is very beautiful, with all her lovely features, and unlike Zhao Qian, she treats him well. He thinks he's doing something wrong, but he restrains himself, and as he's leaving, he comments that it's better to take a cold shower and calm down. To our surprise, Guan has been awake all this time and wonders why he left like that. She embarrassedly wonders if he only thinks of her as a sister. She covers herself with the blanket, saying she's going crazy. She wonders why she's thinking about this. Early in the morning, they start packing to head east of the city. Soon, we see the two of them looking super stylish walking amidst the mist. Guan stops and tells Wang to wait. She takes off her glasses and smells something, but it's the smell of meat, and she says someone is eating nearby. Wang also smells it and rushes to eat the meat, as he's tired of packaged food. Prota tells him not to be impulsive, as this could be a trap, but he goes ahead in vain. Three men appear, and the hairy one tells the other two to grab the knives and hide and wait for his instruction. If they manage to pull off the plan, they'll not only have meat that night but also a lady to warm their beds. On top of a building, Wang Bin and Guan observe the gang member. Wang Bin asks Guan why the leader seems so familiar, and whispering, asks if he's from the Tiger Red gang. Guan says he's right, and that person is Chen Ziqiang. Originally, he was a small leader of the Tiger Red gang but ended up moving to the Crazy Sharks gang, which is the Quang Cha gang. Continuing, he moved to this other gang because he knew the Tiger Red gang needed food. Wang Bin understands and says that this group of crazy sharks was exactly what he was looking for. The men are armed and in front of the building. A voice appears telling them to stop, or they'll get shot. Wang Bin wonders if this female voice is coming from the building, and Chen Ziqiang asks if Officer Miao is home, and she asks what he's doing here. The man says nothing much, but he heard she just killed a boar, and her brother hasn't had fresh meat in a long time. He just wants to bring his brothers to try it out. Guan says this woman's name is Miao Hunyun and that she was a police officer before the end of the world. Wang Bin asks the girl who's in the house. The girl replies that after the apocalypse came, she took over this house and built her base. And there was also an old police officer in her team, named Li Xingping, who seemed to be her master. Besides them, there are 5 or 6 children and women, without fighting skill. The girl comments that it seems like Li Xingping suffered a major injury to his foot, so Miao stayed to take care of him. Wang remarks that from what she said, it seems that this officer Miao is truly a good and fair person. At this, Guan asks the boy if he wants to help them, and he responds affirmatively, but his main reason is that the pair needs assistance. Changing the subject, Miao tells Chen Ziqiang that the Crazy Shark gang has quite a few people, so they must hunt for themselves if they want to eat something. Chen Ziqiang says not everyone is as lucky as her, and her brothers have gone hunting several times, but they returned empty-handed a few times, so he has to bother her. Finally, he says he doesn't want more than half. A man inside the house appears and asks why they don't give the meat to them, and the woman responds that they can't because if they do, they will want more and more in the future. Man, this woman looks a lot like Guan. Could she be her mother? But no, because in the last episode she said her parents died, and she also knows that woman there, right? Continuing, the woman tells the thug that she won't give that boar to them because she hunted it, and if they want something, they should come and try to get it. Chen Ziqiang tells her she has 2 pistols, but he has many other brothers with him, and if they fight, she won't have enough ammo. Suddenly, a gang member is hit, and she tells them to come if they want to fight. Chen Ziqiang tells his brothers to advance if they don't want to be punished. Miao, behind the wall, says they don't have enough bullets, so they can't fight them. Li Xingping says the others should go to the hallway. Then he goes to the hallway to deal with them. Miao understands and tells him to be careful. The pair just watches everything from the top of the building, and Wang Bin tells Guan to get ready because it's for her to shoot those guys. A gang member is behind the car aiming into the house, but ends up being shot by Guan. Chen Ziqiang doesn't understand what's happening and wonders if someone shot him. Miao also doesn't understand but takes the chance and shoots, hitting another gang member. The leader tells the shooter to shoot at Miao. However, he is hit by Guan, but she ends up missing the spot. Chen Ziqiang tells them to find a place to hide because someone is shooting from afar. Miao asks if someone is helping them, and Chen Ziqiang asks who dares to fight against the crazy shark gang. The police sees this moment to go help their master, but nothing major happened, just two men invaded the place and the master took care of them. The man asks Miao what happened up there, as he doesn't understand why she suddenly came to help him. He guesses it might be because their firepower is very strong and many of them are coming in. Miao says their firepower is indeed greater, but apparently someone is helping them. She says that the armed men from the Crazy Sharks gang who were hiding just suddenly disappeared, and Chen Ziqiang noticed it. Changing the scene, a gang member asks Brother Chen what they should do because many have died and many are injured, and he asks if he didn't say that the police had few people with them. Chen Ziqiang is also confused by this and says that his information cannot be wrong. He then tells Officer Miao to have a good talk with them. She asks what he wants to talk about, and he, afraid, responds if she could talk to her friend to let them go, and they will make what happened now never happen again, and he will never bother her again in the future. Li Xingping talks to Miao, who doesn't even know the friends who are helping them, and asks what they are going to do now. Miao says she can't let Chen Ziqiang find out that the people outside are not with them. Then a warning is given that they must let the Crazy Sharks gang live because they have already surrendered. Guan, whispering, asks what Wang wants to do now, and he says he will answer her and to wait for his order. Wang tells Miao that he will let them go, but only this time, and the officer warns the gang that they can go. The master also comments that it really seems like they want to help him. Chen Ziqiang gets angry and says he will go back and bring a few more people, and then he will finish them all. Wang warns Guan to shoot and she doesn't understand, but obeys and finishes off another from the gang. The guy then asks if she didn't say she was going to let them escape, and Miao asks why they shot again and if they are doing it on purpose. Chen grabs a gang member to defend himself and tells the boy that he should feel honored to do this for him, and that it was to blame the person who is hiding for breaking the promise. Guan says she accidentally let him escape from her line of fire, but it's okay, and it seems the gun isn't good enough for her. Miao then asks what they want, and if it's about food, they have nothing to say. Wang Bin, with a snack in hand, says he wants to cooperate with her and that there is some food for her, which he can consider as a gift for cooperation. The young man enters and a gun is pointed at his head. The woman tells him to throw everything on the ground, and the boy tells her not to worry, because he only brought food and nothing else. Wang raises his arms and Brother Nam checks Wang's bag and, as expected, finds lots of snacks. Wang Bin says he can give them these things and that he really wants to cooperate. Since it's like this, the woman tells them to talk on the second floor. The boy tells her to be careful not to accidentally shoot him, and she replies not to worry, as they only shoot at criminal. Changing the scene, Li Xingping asks if it's him who is secretly helping them and immediately welcomes them. Wang Bin, in his thoughts, comments that besides the little boy who moved his backpack, there are other children, and they are on alert as he watches them closely. Wang Bin asks if they are okay, but we are explained that they had very unpleasant experiences before being found by the police. Therefore, they are defensive with someone they don't trust or know. Wang comments that he thinks he gained a bit of trust. As we can see, the gun is already lowered. The woman asks what his goal is, and he replies that it is to work together to fight against the gang and the crazy shark. The girl thinks this is absurd, because there are many people who are part of this gang. In that, the master even comments on his thought, that the boy knows nothing about the crazy sharks gang. Nan's brother asks if Wang has the courage to attack people from the crazy sharks gang, and Admirado says he is incredible. The shy young man talks to the woman who knows what his concerns are. Even though she thinks it's a crazy idea from Wang, he asks her to consider it, because the Tiger Red gang is already fighting a giant bear, and if they can get the Crazy Shark gang to fight against the Fling Eagle gang, they may benefit from this fight. She says that, actually, if the gangs end each other, there will be no more big gangs in this city. However, she is not interested in his plan. In her thoughts, she agrees with what he said, because this is a big opportunity. But she not only has to take care of these children, she has to take care of her master, who has a hurt leg. Finally, she tells the young man that he is not into participating in the gang fight. He just wants to save some food and get them out of here as soon as possible. The young man politely asks her to reconsider, and once again, says he knows what they want. He tells her that if she agrees to help, he can give them more food than that. Nam's brother shows the backpack with snacks and says Wang didn't lie. There really is a lot of food we've never found before and others we've never seen. Wang says to trust him and that these foods are already luxury items here and that the food resources he has in his hand, they're hundreds of times more than this. The woman is suspicious because she doesn't know his identity and support, and even worse, how he manages to have so much food. Wang says he knows she's thinking about the origin of this food, but don't worry about it. Just answer if she's willing to work with us. She thinks that by cooperating with him and getting this food, they won't need to risk going out to look for food, and even better, they won't need to worry about food. But there's a catch. She doesn't know if he's trustworthy. She then asks for her master's opinion, who says that if everything is okay with her, he supports her. A child grabs the woman's attention and says you have to live in constant fear while hiding. So why don't we go out and take a risk just once? The children don't want to become a burden, and the girl says that if Miao is rejecting this because of them, they are really sad and will do their best not to be a burden. Then they need to deal with the gang together. The policewoman says it's very risky and the worst can happen if they fail. The brother gets very angry and says he's not a coward like Miao and that if she doesn't want to, he'll help Wang himself. Even though Miao asks him to calm down, he doesn't give up and confronts her. He says his parents were killed by the Crazy Sharks gang and now it's his chance to get revenge. Wang puts his hand on the boy's head and asks how he can talk to her like that. The young man adds that all the decisions made by Miao are to protect him, and that if she were really afraid, she would have left him alone a long time ago. Wang says the boy is a man, so he should apologize to Miao. The boy then apologizes and says he shouldn't have said anything to her. The tension then dissipates, and she hits him on the head, calling him a brat. She asks if he really thinks she's a coward, and she hates not being able to bring justice to all of them. It turns out their reality doesn't allow them to do such a thing, and they don't have the numbers and power to defeat these bandits. Miao asks Wang what the way is to destroy the Crazy Shark gang. Wang mentions he already got the Giant Bear gang and the Red Tiger gang to fight each other, and now he needs to make the Crazy Shark gang fight the Flying Eagle gang. And while she helps him start the fire, he'll take care of the ammunition and supply. She responds that she's the only one who can help him because the master is still injured and the children aren't strong enough. But that's not a problem, he just needs her. Wang tells Shounen to pack his bags because men always do things first. Wang Bin is happy about all this because now he has found reliable teammates. A very nice building is shown to us, and we see Guan training with a weapon left by one of the members of the Crazy Shark gang. Changing the subject, Wang Bin tells the police officer that before it was just the two of them, but now she's also present. The woman is surprised because there are few people and asks how he dares to confront the gang. The student says that although he doesn't have many people, she can be sure that Guan's aim is very good. The police officer appears and thanks Wang for the beer, and Guan says he used to have a lot more, but she drank most of it. Miao asks if it's really beer because if it is, they could trade it outside, and it would be worth 3 boxes of ammunition. The police officer agrees and says the taste is very good. To top it off, it was just a little cigarette. Wang says that's not all and that next time he'll bring more for him. The boy doesn't forget the policewoman and also offers her a beer. She then accepted because it had been a long time since she had tasted it. Later, I don't know what she drank, but the taste was very good. The children receive the sweets and snacks and ask if they can eat all of this. Obviously, they can, but each of them can only choose one. Suddenly, a big explosion happens, and Guan says they are the Tiger Red gang who have been fighting the giant bear. Wang Bin agrees and tells Miao he wasn't lying when he talked about it. Miao says she can believe that for now because of her kindness for the luxurious food, but she still has a question. She wants to understand why Guan doesn't run away with him, since he has so much food, and why he wants to destroy the gang. The boy then says it's because the 4 gangs have been doing many bad things all this time, and he's fed up with it. Now that he has the power to end them, he will. Wang Bin calls his brother Nam and throws the weapon to him. This weapon is the one the gang left behind. Guan is shocked by this and wonders if he really gave the weapon to the boy, as he's still a child. Finally, we've finished this episode. If you liked it, leave your like and don't forget to share. Until next time. Wang Bin says that even though he's a child, in this world he is a man, and with this weapon, he will protect his brothers and sister. The boy then asks Miao if he can keep the weapon, and she authorizes it. Wang Bin says that tomorrow his brother Nam will start practicing with him, and in her mind, Miao says he is so generous that he can easily give away weapons that can save his life, and he wonders who he is. On the second day, after breakfast, Wang Bin, Guan, and Miao headed to the main camp of the Crazy Shark Gang. Since Miao was more familiar with the east side, they reached the building near the headquarters of the Crazy Shark Gang without much difficulty. However, their security was tighter than they had thought, so the best chance would be to launch a surprise attack. Wang Bin comments that only a few of them had guns in their hands, while others had only knives and sticks. In response, Miao says they will shoot first at those who are armed. A gang member tells the others to go take care of their needs and return, but he ends up being hit, causing everyone to spring into action as they are under attack. Another member is hit, and Wang Bin quickly pulls the girls back, warning them that if they don't calm down, they'll end up dead. Now that they've completed the mission, Wang suggests going and causing some trouble for the Flyer Eagle gang. Changing scenes, we see corpses on the ground, and the gang leader is very angry about what has happened. A gang member remarks that the Giant Bear and Red Tiger gangs are at war, so the attack must have been from either the Fly or Eagle gang, as they are the only ones bold enough to attack them. The leader tells them to shut up as something seems very suspicious. He comments that the Flyer Eagle gang would never attack them to start a war and suspects someone else is trying to provoke conflict between them this time. He then tells them that the most important task now is to investigate what's happening in the war between the Tiger Red gang and the Giant Bear gang. Bile's task is to take someone to see if there's any force outside the city. Moreover, he must recall everyone as they cannot let small groups wander around and suffer more losses. Finally, Xing's brother says that while the Tiger Red gang and the Giant Bear gang are destroying each other, he can seize the opportunity to conquer the Flyer Eagle gang, and as for the other, he will deal with them slowly. We are shown another gang, and Ricardo Milos also appears, but another desperate man appeared, and he says that a post is on fire. Another man is seen finished on the ground, and now they have another weapon. Miao is quite surprised that people from the Crazy Shark gang and the Flyer Eagle gang are so weak. Wang comments that they are used to not being attacked because they think they are too strong, and when they do get attacked, they are caught off guard. Guan arrives to report that he has shot the guard posts as ordered, and now that the mission is accomplished, they can leave. In Wang's mind, the four gangs will be forced to act, and the Tiger Red gang and the Giant Bear gang are engaged in a fierce fight. They definitely won't give up before destroying each other. The fight between the Crazy Shark gang and the Flyer Eagle gang is about to begin. Everything is going according to his plan, and the four gangs are playing into his hand. Some time has passed, and Wang is practicing his aim when Miao arrives and tells him he'll only waste ammo practicing like that. The protagonist asks her what she's doing here so late and apologizes if he woke her up. With envy-inducing beauty, she says she came to get some air and teach him to shoot. Wang thanks her and teases her for dressing that way. The girl comments that he should thank her because he helped her become who she was before. She quickly grabs the gun and hits the can with precision. In fact, she was a police officer before all this happened. Miao's story unfolds. After the apocalypse began, she and other partners tried to protect ordinary people. However, food became scarcer, and everyone turned against each other for it. They died in front of her, one by one. With the world in chaos, she began to doubt her beliefs, losing sight of why she protected others. She adds that later she met Xiao Bao and the other, and although she still protected them, she lost her will to fight the evil forces. Wang praises her, saying she's amazing for taking care of Xiao Bao and the others despite the gang's cruelty and food shortages. She mentions that the bosses of these gangs were just gangsters before, and she even apprehended some of them. Suddenly, they became the most powerful people in the city, gathering a large group and attacking others. All she could do was witness their atrocities, feeling more useless than ever. Wang Bin tries to cheer her up, saying she's strong and brave. Despite everything, she hasn't hurt anyone, kept her kind heart, and took care of everyone. He adds that she's much better than him and deeply admires her. He thinks living in the moment is more important. To change the subject, he asks if she wouldn't teach him to shoot. She says it's not difficult to practice marksmanship well as long as he knows the basics and follows his instincts. With her help, he could become an elite shooter too. Miao guides him on handling the gun, instructing him to focus all his attention in one place and maintain a horizontal line of sight, muzzle, and target. She asks how he feels and if he felt anything. Wang, all red, says he's feeling something, then pulls the trigger, hitting the can on his first try. Wang is excited because hitting the target feels great. He tells the policewoman that after taking down the gangs in this area, they'll take everyone to a shelter built by the government. She's happy about it and asks if he's willing to take her and the other. Obviously, he says yes. However, now they will set this matter aside because it's time for him to keep practicing his aim with the gun. Besides, his posture with the gun is still wrong. Guan spies on them from behind the wall and comments that she can also help him practice with weapon. It's another day already. The fight between the Tiger Red Gang and the Giant Bear Gang is very intense, with the sound of gunfire and explosions echoing throughout the city without pause. The duo was tasked with stealthily entering the area where the two gangs are fighting to gather information. The Tiger Red Gang, having lost their supplies, wiped out the Giant Bear Gang in one fell swoop. However, they suffered heavy losses in this battle, and only a dozen of their members survived. Moreover, due to the loud noise during the battle, the Tiger Red Gang is surrounded by millions of zombies around a building, and they can't do anything for now. Upon hearing the news, the Crazy Shark Gang, without the Tiger Red Gang and the Giant Bear to hold them back, ends up coming out in full force. Meanwhile, there was a spy from the Flyer Eagle Gang infiltrated into the Crazy Shark Gang, who ends up sending the information to the Flyer Eagle Gang. Meanwhile, Ricardo Milos warns his comrades that the Flyer Eagle Gang is coming to attack them. He angrily questions how they dare to invade his paradise. They are going to blast the backsides of their rival gang. The headquarters of the Crazy Shark Gang appears, and guards are protecting the place. There are only a dozen guards left in the gang's building. So, this is the best time to invade. The bald one is the first to be hit, while the other is cornered and asks Wang Bin to spare his life. Guan passes on the information that there are only 2 guards at that location. The hostage informs that the food is stored with heavy machine guns on the upper floor, and Wang Bin won't be able to grab them, but the goal isn't the food but the gold. At this, the man asks why he wants it. The protagonist tells him he doesn't need to know the reason. After all, he's just a bit player. Arriving at the location, the man says the vault is at the end of the hallway and they haven't touched its contents for a long time. Wang Bin is suspicious, and Miao suggests letting the man walk ahead. Wang Bin feels safer with the policewoman here because she's very cautious when dealing with these things. As they walk, the boy in his thoughts calls the 3 idiots because there's a staircase leading to an upper floor on the opposite side. You can only see it up close. If he reaches the staircase, he can escape and warn the brothers upstairs. Glancing sideways, he introduces himself as being here, as if warning someone. Wang Bin tells Miao to stay put and keep watch while he goes first. However, the man got what he wanted, and now the 3 are chasing after him. Unfortunately for the man, he runs into a zombie, which takes him down. Wang says to wait and that there's something ahead. Screams for help echo through the area and more zombies appear, leaving them puzzled about why these monsters are in this place. Guan asks what they should do now as they are blocking the vault door. Wang replies that for safety, it's better for them to leave. Miao doesn't want to do that. Even though she doesn't understand why he wants the gold, she knows it can help him take down the gang. Therefore, they can't give up now. Guan agrees because this is the best opportunity and it will be very difficult to get another chance. Wang Bin says she's right, and both of them are being very brave, so he can't retreat like a coward. The 3 prepare for the attack and move against the zombie. After struggling, they finally reach the location. And man, Wang is in heaven because there's a lot of gold in this room. They have no idea how to take all this gold. Miao adds that there must be at least 40 tons of it all. Wang wonders how much that is, and it's about 16 billion. Miao comments that before the apocalypse, all this gold was supposed to be returned to the government, and they both look at her strangely. But it turns out she had a police mentality again. Returning to the subject of gold, Wang Bin calls up the system because he wants to know how much gold is here. The system responds that there's a total of 46,250 pounds of gold and, if he wants to make an upgrade, Wang Bin warns Miao that they won't move the gold, and she doesn't understand why, especially since they worked so hard to get to this place. Guan also says that even if we can't take everything, we can take as much as we can. Wang then says that these bars need to be removed from here, but we won't be responsible for the removal. He says there's a mysterious organization supporting him, but he can't give details yet. He adds that his task is to find these gold bars and send them to where they need to go. Then the organization will find a way to send someone to remove these bars. Guan thinks this is why he disappeared for 7 days. She thinks this organization got Wang Bin. Wang Bin agrees and says Guan is very smart. Miao takes the opportunity to say that it's no wonder he can carry so much precious food, and if he can say what this organization does. Unfortunately, he can't answer because he doesn't have clearance from higher-ups, but she should trust him, and he will never use or hurt her. Miao is reassured by this. She trusts him and knows there must be consequences if he talks about it, so she won't ask again. Finally, Wang says he will send the location of the gold, and they should wait outside and protect it for some time. So they will wait, but not for long, as they are in the shark's den. Wang Bin requests a system update and it was successfully completed. Now he just needs to think about the items he wants to store. In that, the items will be automatically placed in the inventory. Obviously, he wants to put all that gold into the item box, and the gold will be sucked into that cube. The system says that all the gold bars have been stored and the 10,000 pounds of gold needed to upgrade the system have already been directly deducted. Wang comments that this item box will be very convenient for carrying things in the future and asks the system if it's still possible to proceed with the upgrade. The system says yes, and he only needs 30,000 pounds to upgrade to the next level. After the upgrade, the lottery system will be opened, and he can start using the lottery with gold. Despite finding it expensive, the young man asks to upgrade immediately. He remarks that his combat power is very weak, always having to rely on Miao and Guan, so he needs to become strong. The system upgrade is completed, and Wang asks to start the lottery system. The young man stands in front of the machine and asks if the lottery system is in this machine. The system confirms it and mentions it costs 100 pounds of gold per draw, but the prizes are plentiful and absolutely juvenile. Wang, looking bewildered, comments that something is wrong because he just spent a lot of money to upgrade the system and now needs 100 pounds of gold per draw. The system asks him to trust because it's absolutely economical, and not to forget the phrase that says money is power. Wang comments that he only needs to enrich himself to become stronger, and now he has enough gold. Moreover, he has been playing since childhood, known as the King of Europe, and has always been very lucky. He pulls the lever of the machine and comments that if he gets a super ability, he will be able to kick gangsters' butts, and even when he returns to the real world, he won't fear young Masterly. Apparently, he has hit upon a super technique, and in awe, he declares himself truly the King of Europe. However, it turns out it's not quite like that. The machine keeps spinning and lands only on an attribute point, gaining a bit of agility. Wang gets angry about this and wants to continue, now wanting to make 10 draws at once. The machine thanks him for the sponsorship, and as he continues winning items, he becomes more desperate. He ends up winning 2 grenades, a night vision scope, a missile spear with 3 missiles, and also a pack of spicy strips. Finally, he wins the skill book and asks the system to open the attribute panel and check it. The system congratulates him as his attribute points have increased. Wang says it only increased 1 attribute point and asks the system to explain this skill. This skill is called Master Marksman. It's at level 1 and increases shooting accuracy by 10%, critical hit rate by 10%, and shooting range by 100 meters. To level up this skill, he needs to defeat 1,000 zombies. The boy analyzes this and says it will take him a while, noting that despite using a lot of gold, he hasn't gotten anything good. He wonders if the probability of a skill appearing will increase next time. Then he asks the system once again for 10 consecutive draws, and 2 minutes pass after that. He seems to feel defeated, kneeling on the ground. In that moment, it's recounted what he achieved: 2 packs of spices, a bottle of mineral water, a rifle ammunition box, which has enough to deal with my zombies and increase skill level. And finally, we have the ability called Vajrapalm. This ability adds 3 points of strength attribute and can shatter stones with a single blow. To evolve this ability, he needs to finish off 1,000 zombies as well. Wang comments that he finally got a self-defense skill to protect himself in both worlds. After spending so much, there's only 4,150 pounds of gold left in the item box. Therefore, he won't use the gold and will leave it for when the system needs it. Wang is concerned about the time because when he thinks about returning to the real world for a day, he remembers that 7 days have already passed here. So, for Guan's and Officer Miao's safety, he needs to destroy the Mad Shark Gang and the Flying Eagle Gang before returning. Changing scenes, we see Miao Police drinking soda, which makes her feel much better. Guan laughs at this situation because Miao's reaction was the same as hers when she drank it too, adding that it would be even better if it were chilled or with ice. Miao says that thinking about how we used to casually drink sodas in the past, but now it's a luxury item. Guonom replies not to worry, Ong is amazing, and just follow him, and you'll still have more sodas to drink. One thing the officer notices is that Guan is always very happy when talking about Wang Bin, making the girl blush. Finally, Miao says it's okay and she knows, but still, Guan says it's not what she thinks. At that moment, Wang Bin appears and asks what they're talking about. Guan asks if he sent the location already, and he replies yes, and we should leave here quickly. Miao says the Mad Shark Gang's base is empty, a good opportunity to set it on fire. But Wang says he has a better idea than that, which is to rescue the Flyweagle Gang now. Miao asks if he misheard, as how does he want to rescue that gang? Guan also says that even though they're the weakest gang, they've still done a lot of bad things. In summary, they should believe in him, as helping the Flyweagle Gang is the best way to fight against the Mad Shark Gang. Outside, things are ugly, with a war happening between the two gangs. In this, Ricardo Milos appears, saying to bring more ammunition and to finish off the Mad Shark gang. A member next to Xing in a car asks if it's really a good plan to let their brothers advance like this. He replies that these kids are naive, they joined the gang only to be used as cannon fodder by us, the bosses, and that all this talk about gang unity is just brainwashing. In other words, they're just there to draw the main fire, and that the leader of the Flyer Eagle is a simple-minded man who only has muscle. Xing sent this group to death first, just to lure them and focus the enemy troops on the main portal. Since they're few, probably the other 3 portals must be empty and undefended. Xing adds that he has at least 4 times more people than he does, and when they attack the side gates, the Flyer Eagle gang will be destroyed. Hooks are attacked in the building, and underneath the building, men are trying to invade the place. The red-haired man warns over the radio that there are many Mad Shark gang members at the East Gate, and the one who received the warning notifies Ricardo Milo. Here's the translation into English, preserving the original name. He ends up sending someone else to blow them up. 2 men shoot downwards, but are quickly restrained. Meanwhile, those below seize the opportunity to climb. One man says they've finally managed to ascend, but suddenly he gets hit by someone. That guy with the mohawk remarks it must be the one who attacked us last time. Xing, angrily, says there really is someone hiding in the shadows against us. He even throws his partner out of the car to find these people. He adds that whoever finds them will be rewarded with a sack of flour and a bottle of red wine. The gang members get excited, saying those opposing them are on the top floor of the building. Guan says it seems they've been discovered and decides to leave that place to hide. She remembers Wang Bin said she and Miao would attack separately, and after firing once, they should change position so they can't guess their number, so she does as instructed. Next, we see Ricardo Milos sending his subordinates east and west to defend the gates, not letting anyone in. A man arrives and says there's good news. The Crazy Shark gang's attack seems to have been halted. He's not sure, but it seems someone is secretly aiding them. Happy Ricardo says he must be a savior sent by God. Switching scenes, we see Mia. Wang Bin is saying the Flyer Eagle gang probably didn't expect him to ask Mia and Guan for help in attacking the Crazy Shark gang. He believes they'll surely be able to weaken that gang's power. Wang is on top of the building, waiting for the right moment, and Xing receives information that their weakened side couldn't locate the shooters' positions and has already been hit, injuring over 20 of their brothers. He adds that the Fly Eagle gang has started defending the other gates and asks if they should continue attacking. Xing tells them to keep attacking and shoot anyone daring to flee. Looking out a window, Ricardo Milos wonders why this situation. He doesn't understand why they're slowly gathering here. Soon he asks his brother how much firepower they still have. The reply is not much. In his thoughts, he knows if they attack, he and his brothers won't have a way to retreat. Their only option is hand-to-hand combat. Wang is also present. Judging by the formation, he says this must be the leader of the Crazy Shark gang, and for him to be here, Xiao and Miao have likely disrupted his plans considerably. Xing says it's been a long time since he saw Ricardo. He's here to offer him a way to survive. If his gang is willing to join him, they can live, and his gang will stop the attack immediately. Ricardo will remain their leader. However, he'll need to listen to Xing and address him as master. Ricardo rejects the proposal, saying if Xing has the strength to attack, then attack. After that, Xing tells his brothers that whoever gets the head of that stinky one will be rewarded with 10 sacks of white flour. They advance, and the battle begins. Xing, with his machine gun, fires fiercely, giving his members the opportunity to advance. However, at that moment, a shot from the top of the building is fired. Because Xing was focused on shooting, he didn't notice the attack and ends up being hit. Ricardo says it was a soldier sent by God to help them. With this great opportunity, he sends his soldiers to counterattack. While some are running, others are going to help the badly injured brother Xing. He himself is surprised by this, as he didn't know they had such firepower. Wang appears laughing, saying everything is going as planned. He remarks that the Crazy Shark gang won't be able to threaten others with shame for much longer. Here's the English translation without changing the name. So he'll feel a bit calmer when he returns, Ricardo's brother says. Even though we lost many brothers, we finally managed to win, and the leader responds to grab his magic weapon. At that moment, Wang appears holding his weapon. However, he pays attention to something else. Speakers appear, and Ricardo is saying that, although he doesn't know where he is, he thanks him for his kindness, and if someday he faces any difficulties in the future, he and his gang will help him without excuses. In his mind, Wang says this isn't necessary and leaves the corner after finding it embarrassing. In summary, in this gang battle, both lost many people, but Crazy Shark suffered the most damage. Just to give an idea, there were over 100 people. He has just over 30, but more than half are injured. Since Xing, the chief of Crazy Shark, is seriously injured, and the Fly Eagle gang needs to rest, Wang believes the two gangs would now dare to act, ensuring his safe return. Switching scenes, Wang and his group are celebrating this moment. Master of Miaoth comments that he didn't expect that just the three of them could cause such damage to both gang. He also says it would be a shame if his legs were hurt. If not for that, he would also shoot. Nam's brother is excited about all this and says he also wanted to help, and it would be great if he could finish alone. The girl next to him scolds him because he doesn't shoot well and runs too slowly. She adds that he'd be an easy target. Wang tells them both to stop arguing and that he'll have greater opportunities in the future, adding that maybe they'll trust him in the future to protect them. Changing the subject, Wang says that for a while, Crazy Shark and Fly Eagle gangs should stay quiet, but for safety, it's better to find a new location as soon as possible. Guan asks where he wants to move and where the safest place would be. He suggests suburbs. Although there are more zombies there are fewer living people, with less chance of being attacked. He tells them he'll be gone for a few days and that meanwhile, they should stay there until he returns. When he comes back, he'll bring food for them, and then they can go out to find some of the government bases. Miao asks if he's going to that organization mentioned earlier, and he replies yes. He has to leave for 7 days to recover, but this time he'll take many supplies, including fresh vegetables and meat. So, they should tell him what they want to eat in advance to see if he can bring it. The kids place their orders, and Miao asks for a cold beer, while his master asks for cigarettes. Wang then says he'll try his best to meet all their needs, but he also feels embarrassed about it, as they are risking their lives and only want these things. Now let's put all that aside, as they will celebrate this great victory in the same way. Early the next morning, they will head to the suburbs. Early the next morning, Wang wants to move to that location because of these zombies, as we know if he finishes off many zombies he'll be able to upgrade his skill. For safety reasons, he equipped everyone with the weapons they stole from the Crazy Shark gang. Wang Bin says it's ridiculous to arm such a small child, but in this world they can protect themselves and the people around them if they have weapons. A box is shown, in it there are 10,000 bullets, enough for everyone to use. Wang says that tomorrow morning he wants to clear out the nearby zombies and practice his aim. He asks if they want to go together. Obviously, the kids get excited and want to go, but because there's so much ammunition, Miao asks if he really has all that. Guan says she'll train with Wang Bin, but Miao interrupts and says her aim is very good, so they'll do something else. As Wang will be away for a while, they need to prepare and stock up on food. For this, she asks Guan if she wants to go with her to the nearby mountains to gather some wild vegetable. Wang Bin says it's a good idea and that he's almost sick of eating instant noodle. Here is the translation of the text into English. And for him, wild vegetables would be exotic food nowadays. Guan agrees to go fetch these vegetables, and in his thoughts, he says he wanted to stay with Wang before returning, but apparently that won't happen. Changing the scene, Wang and the others are on top of a building practicing their aim. Guan, worried, says the zombies have surrounded them, but Wang tells them not to be afraid because he wanted this to happen. He shoots a zombie and tells the kids to start practicing. Wang says that since it's easier to move around in the suburbs, he practiced with these two kids all day, and before he knew it, it was night. Over the past few days, Wang and the kids ended up killing zombies in this area every day, using around 3,000 bullets, until almost all the zombies around them were dead. The aim of the two kids is getting better and better. Thus, more and more people will be able to protect the team. And most importantly, Wang managed to improve his skill. With this, a notification appears in the system. The master's shooting skill has reached level 3, increasing shooting rate by 80 points. The critical rate is 80. And the shooting distance is up to 200 meters. Finally, the next update requires killing 5,000 zombies. Changing the subject, now it's time to eat. The three are very excited. Guan says this is the result of a day's work in the kitchen by Officer Miao. And the girl next to him says this food was made especially for Brother Wang. Wang Bin is confused. He doesn't understand why. Miao's master arrives and says that since Miao knew he was leaving, she wanted to prepare a delicious meal to bid him farewell. Tearfully, he says that despite being her master, he has never been treated like this and thinks her heart now belongs to someone else. Miao hears this and becomes furious. She asks if he's not going to eat later or if he doesn't want to eat. Is that why he's saying these things? But the man says he's just teasing her. Wang Bin thanks her for what she did for him. And she, with a serious expression, says she used to prepare a luxurious banquet only for inmates. Miao also has to give some credit to Guan. Indeed, she also helped. She then says Guan got all the chicken. Wang puts his arm around Guan's shoulder and says he was already expecting that from her, making her blush. He says they are already siblings who have risked their lives together, and Guan is taken aback because Wang called her sister. After dinner, they show us weapons and Guan asks if Wang is really going to leave all this to them, because he also needs something. But as always, Wang says not to worry. One gun is enough. The protagonist announces he's leaving tonight and will leave the rest to them. Miao comments they will take good care of the place, and Guan asks Wang if she can accompany him because she's worried. Wang says there's no need for that. She can stay here to protect everyone and promises to return in 7 days. Guan seems sad about his departure and tells him to take care and that she'll be waiting for him. Wang Bin has already gone to the room to be sent back to the real world. Meanwhile, the two look at the door and ponder. Miao asks Guan if Wang Bin also left in that manner last time, as if he stayed alone in the room. The protagonist in the room tells the system to initiate the teleportation process and changes scenes completely. He's already in the real world, and once again, he hasn't forgotten his friends. The three are drinking, and Wang ends up drooling because of the delicious drink. Out of nowhere, the protagonist shouts to eat because he is very hungry. One of his friends asks why he is so hungry now that they are home, and that he won't be able to finish all the dishes they ordered. Wang says he wanted to take them to a high-class restaurant, but it's been a long time since he's had dishes with a lot of meat and fish. That's why I brought them here for now. Wang says that in the other world, you need to be careful with zombies and other people at any moment, and to make matters worse, food is scarce. However, in this world, he can bask in the sun and eat whatever he wants, making it wonderful to live in this world. One of his friends asks the other if he doesn't think that suddenly becoming very rich was too much of a stimulus for his brain, which ended up leaving him with mental problems. Changing the subject, the guy tells Wang Bin to be careful now that he has offended young Masterly because the bully is sending many people to look for him. Wang Bin says to forget about him for now, and asks if they have any plans after graduation. The one in white thinks he will work in a brokerage or a real estate agency. The other wants to start his own business but hasn't decided what to do yet. Wang asks, "Start a business? So, are you not interested in gold and silver jewelry?" His friend asks why he's talking about this suddenly, and Wang responds that he has a source where he can buy lots of jewelry at a low price. If they are interested, the three can open a jewelry store together. One of the guys says he will accept the proposal if he is willing to accept it. Then he will use the money he received to buy part of the share. Man, Wang is the best friend anyone could have. Besides everything he did, he will finance the entire process of opening, and his friends can keep the money he sent earlier. The guy says that opening a jewelry store seems very expensive and asks if he has enough money to invest. To our surprise, he will invest only 20 million. Very little, right? And as a bonus, he will add 4,000 pounds of gold. One already asks the other to calculate how much all that is, and the result is impressive. The current gold rate is 401 per gram. 500 grams is 1 pound. Therefore, 4,000 pounds equals 800 million. The guy asks if that's not wrong, and Wang Bin says not to do the math yet, and to eat first, because afterward he will take the boys to see the rest. The protagonist says that the gold is in his village, which confuses the guy. He even asks if Wang, by any chance, hid the fact that he is the son of a rich family. Changing the scene, the boys are looking at those gold bars, even hugging the gold. And if this is a dream, he doesn't want to wake up. Since he has good friends, he gives a slight kick just to see if he is really dreaming. The guy starts shaking Wang Bin and tells himself how he managed to get so much gold and if he's not breaking the law. The guy stops to think, he might have the courage, but he wouldn't have the skill for that. Wang tells them to go together to choose the store location and issue the permit and other licenses. He adds that he trusts the two of them a lot, so they should talk about other matters after opening the store. The boys say they believe in him, and Xing Ping asks about the shares, because they haven't talked about it yet. Wang Bin says they are his partners and they should think of it as a technical purchase. Wang Bin will give 10% for each of the shares. The guys are surprised by this, even though they are friends. Business is business. All the investment money is from Wang Bin, so it's too much for them to earn 10%. One even asks if they are really capable of being his partner. Despite the guys having these doubts, Wang Bin trusts them. He adds that Kingpin is outgoing, so he will be responsible for store management and the sales team. This excites him, saying he will give his best. As for Hongfei, he is introverted, so he will be responsible for the internal management of the company while learning to be a jewelry designer. Another goal of Wang Bin is when the jewelry store is stabilized, they will open an investment company, and Xing Ping will be responsible for the investment company. With a very strange look, the protagonist says that the three of them will work together, and they will certainly be able to create a strong and wealthy business empire. The two guys hugged Wang Bin, and Hong Fei comments that he really can't think of how to repay him. He adds that even if he gave his body to Wang Bin, he would still be in debt to him. Wang's phone rings and his order has arrived. In this video, we see a truck at his house. Inside it, there is a lot of flour, rice, and noodle. Hong asks why he is buying so many vegetables and fruits and if he is trying to avoid young Master Li. But he is not avoiding him. Anyway, these things are very useful to him. Hong says that since that's the case, they will not worry about him and will take care of the company's business immediately. The protagonist says it's fine, and they will meet at the restaurant near the university entrance tonight. Wang walks with his phone and is talking to someone. This same person tells the protagonist that they are not done here yet, so it's time to move on and continue walking alone first. They will come later. The young billionaire says it's fine and that they should take their time, as he is enjoying life little by little, anyway. In his thoughts, he says he spent more time in the other world than in this one and feels a bit strange being back in this world. Perhaps after living a long time in another world, his mood has become depressed and sensitive. He wonders if the experience of life and death made him grow a lot because now, looking at these college students of the same age, he feels they are young. Or maybe, now that he is rich, he looks at everyone as if they are inferior. On the other hand, if it weren't for this apocalyptic world, he would also be running after his future in his formative years. A man runs beside him and says he will be late for the interview, and we clearly see it is Wang Bin, but it was just a memory from the past. Wang Bin comments that he was an excellent student in everyone's eyes, but that doesn't matter compared to the effort of all these people. His excellence is simply insignificant, but fortunately, God gave him a chance. Finally, he comments that he wants to be a great all-powerful man in both worlds. He continued walking, and some guys stopped him, asking if he was Wang Bin. Wang Bin comments in his thoughts that this gang of gangsters must be young and stupid masterly trying to teach him a lesson. Then, he tells these brats that he is Wang Bin and asks if there is a problem. The one you find cute says that the protagonist has courage and didn't wet his pants. He adds that he is Dong's brother from the Haihu gang and asks if they have never heard of it. Wang Bin is direct and asks if Li called him. The bully says that since he was straightforward, he must be ready to be beaten and killed. In the case of young Li, he asked his henchman to tear one of the protagonist's legs. In this case, Wang says that saying they have the capability is not about a leg, because his life can be given to them. The protagonist asks if this is not an inappropriate place and if they want to change location. With that, the bully says he will be mistreated for his arrogance. One of his henchmen asks Dong why this boy is so calm and to be careful of some trick. Surprisingly, he agrees and even asks to call more brother. Time has passed and the bullies appeared next to a truck. Elsewhere, Dong says that Wang Bin has courage and admires him. The protagonist says not to waste time and that everyone can come at once. Finally, Dong says the boy is really brave and that if he hadn't offended young Masterly, he would really like to be friends with Wang. But now it's time to roll, as it's time for a beating. The bullies prepare to attack, and Wang Bin activates his fire hand. He advances and lands a powerful blow on one of the henchmen, sending him flying. Dong gets furious and doesn't know what happened, asking if he is a martial artist. Yes, but if he were a martial artist, it would be good. The boy turned into Superman. Continuing, two henchmen attack, and Wang has his back cut. He says this is bad and that it is still very difficult to face 4 people at once. With a slap, Wang already sends another one away. And now it's Dong's turn to attack. He grabs his katana and throws it at Wang Bin. The protagonist says they are weak, and they still call themselves the Heihu gang, and he thinks they should be called Hello Kitty. The young man then kicks and breaks the ball, causing Dong to scream in pain. But it's not over yet. The young man prepares a slap and hits the aggressor. Wang Bin yells for them to continue if they can, and the aggressors are afraid to move forward. Other cars arrive and the bald guy says that now the young man is finished. One of the bullies asks if it was the boy who hit him, and the broken Dong says they took too long to arrive. The bully can't forget and says that now there are many brothers here, and they will see what he is capable of doing about it. And if before he only wanted to tear off one of his legs, now he wants to kill him. Due to the firefighter's skill not being at a high level, he has no problem with up to 6 of these bullies, but with so many people like this, he might get overwhelmed. Therefore, in this situation, Wang Bin only has to bet. Dong tells his brothers to advance and that it doesn't matter if they are dead or mutilated because he will take the blame if anything happens. When 2 henchmen advance, Wang Bin takes a high shot, which scares them. Another guy asks Dong the origin of the boy and why he didn't say before that he had a gun. But it turns out that not even Dong knew this. At that moment, Wang Bin said, "If they are not afraid to die, come forward." And you can believe there is ammunition for all of them. In an attempt to encourage his companions, Dong tells his brothers not to be afraid, and even if he has a gun, it could be a toy replica. They are also outnumbered, so they don't need to be afraid of him. Dong said so much that, to learn, he was the first to get shot. And Wang asks who is next. The brothers help him up, and with great determination, He says they will finish the boy today. With that, Wang points the gun at him and suddenly Dong loses his memory, and asks the boy if he doesn't want to forget about it. Wang pretends he is going to shoot, to give that little scare, and the brave men finally give up. Wang also tells them to leave because the gang has more people. It's for them to go back to school. With that, they start to cry. One of them even calls his mom wanting to go home. Dong also cries, but out of anger, and Wang Bin, with a crude expression, tells them to go to hell. One of the bullies says that now that Wang Bin has taught them a lesson, they can leave, and Wang Bin, with a stern face, asks why they haven't left yet. In no time, they have already run to the car and left. Now Wang Bin can tell us the truth. He was terrified, but his luck was that the bullies were even more scared. Otherwise, today would really be his end. Xing Ping calls him, shouting that they heard from schoolmates that he had been taken by a group of people and asks if he is still alive. Wang tells them not to worry and that he defeated all those people. Xing Ping asks if this is serious and if he is okay. Well, to say he is okay, he can't, especially since he can't get a taxi. And finally, he asks if his friend can pick him up. Thank you for making it this far. After Xing and Ping caught Wang in that fight, they went to a diner. Xing is furious with young Master Li for thinking he can do anything, and Wang Bin says he will hide for a while, so his friends should help him collect information. He will take this excuse to return to the apocalyptic world. Xing says it's no problem and that they will notify him when something is happening. Changing the subject, Wang Bin asks how he is today and why Hongfei didn't come today. The boy responds that they registered the company, but they will have to wait half a month to get the business license, and Hongfei is in a hurry to find a suitable shop, so he didn't come along. Wang, being rich, says he doesn't need to worry about the shop's business. He just needs to find an agent instead of running after things himself. He should also notify Prota when they are ready, as when he returns, his friends will be able to get the shop running. Xing Ping comments that this was supposed to be fun, but young Master Li is really annoying. Wang Bin says that sooner or later, he will have to deal with that bully, so Xing should focus on his business and not worry about other things. Wang gets up and says he has something to do, so he will leave first. However, Xing should remember not to provoke Master Li and his acquaintances. Xing Ping agrees, but when Wang Bin leaves the establishment, it seems he doesn't want to let Master Li off easily. Xing comments that he and Hong Fei can't tolerate Master Li bullying Wang Bin, and shortly after, he calls his friend Hong Fei. During the call, Xing asks Hong if he found Master Li, and he says yes. He is in a bar. Master Li, inside the bathroom, goes to relieve himself. However, Xingping places his hand on his shoulder, and when he turns around, he covers the bully with a sack. Man, they are really roughing up Master Li, and the two with crazy faces say they will beat the bully before sending him to the other side. While Master Li is getting beaten, he asks how much the boys want to stop hitting him. To be clear, the two are altering their voices to avoid being discovered. Continuing, they say they don't care about his money, and we are shown number 1 and number 2, right there with a huge stench. Hong Fei did that, and yes, the cocky boy was thrown right into that place. With that, Xing Ping and Huang Fei run off, happy. Changing scenes, Wang Bin is in a room full of boxes to take to the other world. All this should last a whole month, but we must not forget one detail. He will also take a refrigerator so everyone can enjoy cold sodas and beer. Prota extends his hands and asks for the system's help to put all these things in the little box. Before going to the other world, he asks the system if so much food can spoil when teleported, but no, the item box has a super function that keeps food fresh, so there is no problem with food storage time. After that, he is finally teleported to the other world. The marks on the wall appear, and this was done by Brother Nan. With that, he was counting the days Wang Bin was gone and concluded that today is the 7th day, so he must return today. Everyone is sitting, and Master Miao says that if he is sure where Wang is, they should bless him even if he doesn't return. After all, they suffered along with him and will never find a man as good as him in this apocalyptic world. Miao agrees and says that now that everyone can take care of themselves, he has no obligation to come back and take care of them. Guan tells Miao that the first time Wang left, she had the same thoughts as her. At that time, Guan thought Wang was lying to her, but even with little hope, he returned to the house where she saw Wang leave every night to take a look. When she was ready to be discouraged and give up, Wang came back. Guan then tells Miao to wait a little longer, as she believes Wang will not break his promise. The children also believe that Wang Bin will return because he wouldn't lie to them. Suddenly, the door opens, and to everyone's happiness, it was Wang Bin. Guan gets emotional and gives Wang Bin a big hug, and Brother Nam even cries at this, as he thought he wouldn't come back. The Prota calls the little one a fool because he is a man and will never go back on his word when he promises something. After making everyone happy, he shows the things he brought for them. There are fresh fruits for the children, a very cold soda for Miao, which makes both of them embarrassed as always. We can't forget the man of the house. After all, he didn't forget what he wanted and is going to demand it from Wang Bin. Prota gets scared, but soon gives the cigarette he had asked for, which makes the master emotional. Nan even asked for one for the master, but he refused to joke with him, and smoking near children can affect their development. Changing scenes, Wang Bin tells Guan and Miao that he brought meat stew to cook, so they should prepare and eat it all together, which makes them happy, and Wang Bin starts to prepare. Soon, Xiao Baoyi and Xiao Nan pour water into the pot, while Guan puts in the meat and vegetable. The food is ready, and Wang Bin tells them to eat. Although it's simple, next time he will bring more luxurious food. Sister Nan and the others start eating. While the girl feeds the younger child, the master shows his happiness while eating the meat. Miao says it looks very good, but when she tastes it, she cries. The young boy asks the staff why they are crying, as he doesn't know if it's too spicy or too bad. Miao responds that it is delicious, but they haven't eaten meat in a long time, and that's why she remembers the time when there was plenty of food. The conditions were not so difficult, and everyone could enjoy the sun and enjoy life to the fullest. On the other hand, her brother doesn't think about their deceased parents because back then they could eat happily as a family. Chiabeo also cries for missing their parents, and it hurts even more to know they won't come back. The master thinks of his little granddaughter because when the apocalypse started, he couldn't protect his family and, in the end, ended up alone. The other girl cries because her family turned into zombie. If it weren't for Miao, she and Chia wouldn't be eating this stew with everyone here today. The duo is moved to hear this. Guan even comments that the familiar taste made everyone remember the happy times before the apocalypse. That's why she had that feeling when she heard those songs with Wang Bin. The policeman says that everyone has experience and difficulties to get where they are today. And Uncle Lee adds that the apocalypse has already happened, and the past is irreparable. Therefore, we must move on and live well. Wang Bin says he is sure that, with everyone's hard work, they will be able to create a safe home and a refuge in this apocalyptic world. Guan asks him if he has already thought of a plan. The young man says that, as far as he knows, the sea is to the east, so they should move in that direction. And even if there are no houses, they can find an island to settle on. As soon as they find a place with suitable soil and plenty of water, Wang Bin will bring seeds, and they will plant some easy-to-grow vegetable. They can also keep wild boars and some birds in captivity, so they don't have to worry about meat. Finally, Prota says that, although the journey is relatively long, he believes that as long as everyone agrees, they will be able to get there. Miao thinks this is a good proposal, but it is a long way to the east, and there are many zombies and gangs looting along the way. Kayable responds to Miao not to forget that both Xiaonan and she learned to use weapons and that they will accompany her along the way. Xiaonan agrees and says that since Brother Wang said so, they should pack up immediately and leave tomorrow. Wang Bin comments that it is not yet time to pack up, as they cannot go east without having enough food and drinks. With that, the young millionaire says to toast to a great future. Guan comments that Wang Bin is handsome and always makes her feel secure. Miao says that Wang Bin has really become the team leader and it seems they found the right person. The team finally rejoices at this moment and the future. We can see it was already getting dark and Wang says he prepared new clothes for each of them. So, after dinner, it's time for them to try and see if they fit. Miao comments that Wang Bin found these messy clothes and they are all skirts and doesn't know how she will be able to fight in them. Guan, after seeing the clothes, says happily to the policeman that she found a suitable outfit for her and that her body is so beautiful it should look good. Miao sees the outfit and says it is good, and that she will try this one first. While the policeman goes out to dress, Guan keeps looking at the clothes. While the girls are doing their things, Wang Bin can finally take a relaxing bath. Prota sees a piece of paper and reads what is written. It says thank you for all Wang's work and hopes he enjoys the hot bath. Guan is the one who prepared the bath, and Wang praises him, saying it is sweet. The boy comments that this is very good. Although it is easy to take a bath in a real village, it is a different experience in this apocalyptic world. In his thoughts, he says he already has a village and more money than he could spend in several lifetimes in his world. But he wonders if he still needs to keep coming to this apocalyptic world. Wang Bin says people are like that, and that at least he should create a safe and worry-free shelter for everyone here, so even if the system breaks and he can't come back, he won't be too worried. Then the system appears saying for the player to stay calm because the system is very stable and the problem he is worried about does not exist and never will. Prota, embarrassed, asks if the system is bad and how it dares to spy on his mind. The system says it is just responding to his doubts and adds that if Wang wants to protect his partners in the apocalyptic world, he should find more gold to make upgrades. With that, Prota says he understands that making upgrades makes him stronger. At this moment, Gon knocks on the door and asks if the water temperature is still good. If not, she will add a little more hot water. Wang responds that the water temperature is perfect and thanks her. Guan wastes no time and asks if she can bathe with him. However, the boy panics and says he thinks that's not right. The girl then says she's coming in, and Prota turns all red. At that moment, Beauty appears in person, and Wang says that if she's in a hurry to bathe, he'll get out first. She then undresses and enters the bathroom. She tells him that it's not necessary to close his eyes, as she only wants to bathe with him. Wang comments that Gua is very innocent because they are adults, and only in a lover's relationship should they bathe together. She leans over him and asks if it wouldn't be nice if he treated her like his girlfriend. Wang then asks if Guan likes him, and she responds that she doesn't even know when it started, but now she always thinks of him. With that, his dark side asks why he's still thinking and tells him to hurry up. But he gets angry and says she must be treating him like a trusted older brother and that he can't take advantage of that. Continuing, Guan feels something strange in the bathtub, but we already know what it was. The girl then apologizes for the incident. Wang turns to Guan and says she might have a good impression of him based on her affection for him and asks if she's sure she feels love for him. The girl then asks if he doesn't like her, but he responds that he does like her, but that doesn't mean he can possess her. He says he hopes Guan can discover what she feels for him, whether it's love or just gratitude. She appears sad and says it's complicated and that she didn't quite understand. Prota, getting out of the bathtub, says that's exactly why they can't date, because she still hasn't understood her feeling. Prota, now standing with his towel, says that when she thinks clearly about it and understands her feelings, she should tell him if she loves him as a lover and not just with simple affection. With a smile on his face, he comments that it won't be too late to start as lovers. Finally, Guan says she's understood this clearly and is willing. The young man, now in his room, says he almost couldn't take it and that it feels great to lie down after a bath. In his thoughts, he doesn't know why he's still hesitating because Guan has many qualities and also has a beautiful body. A girl like that is what many men desire. Compared to Zhao Qian, who only saw him as her slave, Guan couldn't be more sympathetic. Perhaps even because of the betrayal suffered by Wang, he doesn't dare easily respond to Guan's feelings for him. Or maybe he also likes Guan a lot, and if you ask if that's why he takes his and Guan's feelings so seriously, well, at this moment, the young man can't understand this. Besides all that, the deeper the relationship between the two, the harder it will be for Wang to lose her or not be able to see her anymore. At that moment, someone opens the door, and to our surprise, it's Guan dressed as a cat. Seeing this, Prota's nose starts to bleed. Guan also says that Wang definitely won't give up this time. The girl asks if Wang likes cosplay, and Wang replies that he does, but where did she get that outfit? She then says she found it in the pile of clothes the young man brought and asks if it was good. Prota is confused by this but remembers that to find suitable clothes for everyone, he accessed several websites and spent a lot of time searching until a particular site recommended many clothes for the young man. When he saw the clothes, he immediately thought they would look good on Guan. So, his previous demon took over and ordered many of these clothes. Returning to reality, Guan hugs the young man and says she already understands his feeling. She adds that since meeting him, she hasn't needed to go hungry anymore. And most importantly, Wang is very kind to her, making her feel happy and safe. When Wang is about to say something, Guan says he has to accept and gives him a kiss. Well, I can't show this here, but yes, the young man made the giant Goliath work today. The next day, the group left early toward the sea, as they hadn't found a car along the way, so they had to keep walking. This made Wang remember to find more gold to make upgrades to the system, so he can bring cars and more energy to this place. During the day, they encountered some zombies, but now that they have enough weapons and ammunition, it was easy to deal with them. However, to avoid making noise and attracting more zombies, they tried to use only knives as much as possible. With this, Wang also discovered that since he upgraded the power of the fire hands, his abilities are much more agile than before. Miao, with a smile, says that Wang's abilities have become much more agile since he returned. She soon asks if he has been training secretly. The boy replies that he has, because he cannot always rely on Officer Miao to protect him. Guan gives Wang a hug, saying that she feels safe with him, and Miao, in her thoughts, says that after they did that, they became closer. Continuing the journey, we are shown an abandoned neighborhood, and they stop to rest. This place was supposedly for wealthy family, thus, it was convenient for them to rest there. With this, Wang can also look for valuable objects and gold left behind to upgrade the system as quickly as possible. Although there are many villages, Wang chose a dormitory to rest in, as it is the tallest and has the best view. If something happened, they could notice it immediately. At this point, two people appear in the bushes and, whispering, ask if the group is cooking. The two followed the group all the way and comment that their backpacks must be full of food. When one of them has an idea to do something, the other asks if he wants to die because they have weapon. With the amount of firepower the pair has, he doesn't know how they can beat them. His partner then calls him a coward because they only have 2 men, and one of them is lame. Therefore, the others will not be in any danger. Finally, he says they have more people than them and to think about all the food. With that, they go back to report the situation to their leader. In the room, Wang is sleeping, and Guan is on the bed saying she will let the boy sleep a little longer. On the balcony, the master still has that cigarette smell. Guan then goes to the balcony as well to stand guard and tells the master to rest. He agrees to rest a bit and comments that if she notices anything, she should inform them immediately. Guan, already alone, says it's raining, and the man is still in the same place. However, Guan notices movements in that area. At this point, 3 men appear, and one tells the leader that all his brothers are gathered. The guy comments that there is only one person on guard and asks if everyone brought their weapon. Upon confirming, the man says they will attack now and to be quick. At this moment, Guan was already aiming at them but comments that they were coming from 2 different sides and wonders if their plan is to surround them. Wang and company arrive on the balcony, and the boy asks Guan what the situation is. The information is that there are about 20 people, but because of the rain, his vision was blurry, and he couldn't see if they had weapons or not. Upon hearing this, Wang says there could be even more people. Wang advises that he and the girls will shoot from different windows, and Chu-Li needs to protect the stairs to prevent them from getting lost and climbing up. Chu-Li begins to blame himself, saying he should have been more cautious and checked more carefully, and not to worry because the stairs will stay with him. The children appear, and Nan says he and Xiaobao will help repel the enemy. The girl agrees and also has a fierce look in her eye. The determined master tells them to protect Xiao Yan and the other. Therefore, bullets need to be made and prepared to break through the enemy's siege. Wang, with his weapon, checks the situation. He comments that the bandits have started to move and it seems they want to surround him to ambush them from behind. The young man then comments that it doesn't matter. First, he will take down 1 or 2 so that they feel fear. Wang already takes 1 down, leaving the other 2 behind terrified. And the blonde boy says to run because they have been discovered. Guan tells Wang Bin that this is great because he scared them the moment he shot. But you can't just let them run away. He warns that he will take down a few more. The young man comments that he only shot because he was forced. But if many zombies are attracted by the sound of the shots, it will be difficult to get out of here later. Meal says that Wang Bin is right. As long as these people stop bothering him, there is no need to bother them either. Therefore, the group will leave tomorrow. Guan, very irritated, says that if they dare to attack, she will take them down one by one. With this speech, even Wang is scared and comments that, in the future, he shouldn't offend her, or he will end up dead. In a house, the leader comments that this is strange, because they found her easily at night. And, in his opinion, the group must have a high-tech weapon in their hands, something like a single night vision sight or even night vision goggle. The other 2 think about it because a stealth attack at night is not possible, and during the day, the leader will definitely not be able to defeat them. Therefore, it's good for him to think about it a lot. The leader, with an evil smile, says that this is easy to handle, especially since they managed to stop more than 300 zombies in the west of the village. Now it seems that his plan is to let them leave and surround them. But first, he tells a brother to warn everyone to separate and attract the zombies to them. With this, the leader will see how many bullets they have. Changing the scene, Wang is on the balcony with Guan. He tells his girlfriend that there are a few hours left until dawn. They probably won't come back, so she can rest. The girl says she doesn't want to rest, but to stay with her beloved. The young man tells her that he won't run away and that she needs to save her strength too. In this case, the noise is heard coming from the bushes, and Wang says that they really have bad intention. As they slowly approach, Guan is watching them, and they end up being eliminated. Cersei stands up, and we see that it's actually zombies approaching the house. Wang says that Guan can go first and rest and that he has no problem watching alone, but obviously, she wants to stay with him. The girl says she is hearing voices, and many zombies appear screaming. Wang warns that there are zombies on the other side too, and this must be happening because of the shots that were fired, which must have attracted the nearby zombies. Guan finds this strange because there were many shots at night, and no zombies appeared. She concludes that it must have been the people from yesterday who apparently want to trap them in this place. Wang comments that this is really great, but corrects himself by saying that these people are abominable, but with the intelligence of the zombies, they pose no threat. Therefore, Shibo and he will use them to practice with their weapon. The young man also tells Guan not to worry about the supplies as they are definitely sufficient. Since they can't leave now, they will rest for a few more days just to regain their strength. Gwon agrees and feels relieved to hear this. A scream comes from inside the building about what happened, and the group wonders what is happening because it is full of zombies around. Chewie says that if they can't get rid of all these zombies, they definitely won't be able to leave. Brother Nam says that just before going to bed, Brother Aang said not to kill these zombies so that they can practice with the weapons together. Meow, with a smile, comments that they shouldn't worry because the zombies won't be able to climb. Now they don't need to worry about those people coming to attack stealthily and can even have a night's sleep. Finally, she warns that the children should sleep and that she will just watch the place, waiting for Brother Aang to wake up tomorrow. The bandits watch the building from afar and already count on victory. The leader believes that the group's food won't last long. Sooner or later, they will have to clear out these zombies. When their bullets are almost gone, the bandits will attack immediately. It's already dawn, and Wang feels more energized. Brother Nan is very excited for us to train together, saying that there are many zombies waiting to be eliminated. Wang tells the boy not to worry and to eat something first, and they will practice with the zombies later. Wang, with a funny face, says that the bandits must be watching them. He is secretly nearby and wants to see what will happen. Changing the subject, the young man says he hasn't cooked for Kayable in a long time and asks if he can cook meat with scallion. The children get excited upon hearing this, as they will finally eat meat. Meow warns Wang that he knows he brought a lot of food, but they are under siege, and now there are only some wild vegetables, so they shouldn't waste them. The young man comments that they have many supplements, so there's no need to worry. Well, the bandits' situation isn't that bad either. They are even having a soup. The leader says he is so fed up with this wild vegetable soup that they will definitely eat meat. But at that moment, a smell wafts past his nose. It's a very good smell. His henchmen also rise with this smell and comment that the group is cooking a real luxury. At this moment, Wang is using the skills he learned at his part-time university job. In short, he is preparing meat with green onions. The dish is ready, and they start to smell it, barely resisting eating. Meal tells the young man that he is great and that she didn't think she knew how to cook. Chun-Li also comments that she is not surprised that Gwon is so attached to him and that, this way, 8 will fall in love with him. By this time, Meow figures out the Prota's plan. He made this delicious dish just so those people would know. Buang, with a sly look, says that the policewoman knows him well, and that he did it because the bandits must be nearby, and this will irritate them. Apparently, it worked. They got very angry because while they have to eat this soup, the group is eating fragrant food. The leader asks them to calm down, but it doesn't help much for now, as they are outraged by living this life while the others are much better off. The leader comments that everyone has their own life and remembers that, in this post-apocalyptic world, they formed a village with more than 300 people. In the beginning, they worked hard and were self-sufficient. Although they were not rich, they had enough food and clothes, but they did not expect to attract the attention of others who came to take their food. Then with the arrival of zombies, the number of infected continued to rise, so their village of about 300 people ended up being reduced to 20 currently. And this moves the two, and the leader adds that he knows that everyone has been hungry for a long time and now there is fat in front of him, so he can't hold his breath. With an angry expression, the leader says to let them play, because when the opportunity arises, they will not only take the supplements but also will not spare the meat. A member warns the leader that the group is shooting, and the leader, laughing, says they must be eager to leave. And when they run out of bullets, the victory will be certain. While the bandits are counting victory, the children are training their aim with the zombie. Wang praises Shounen, saying he is doing well, and that one more headshot will be 10. Xiaobao, on the other hand, only hit 5 headshots, so she will have to train more. Meow is a little worried about this and asks his master if he doesn't think Wang is wasting too many bullets by letting the two children practice this way. Uncle Lee comments that it is not a waste, as it is a long-term investment. Returning to the training, Shounen shouts with joy, as he hit 10 headshots. As a reward, he receives a grilled chicken leg. The boy thanks and tells Xiaobao that he will share this piece of chicken leg with her. However, the girl shouts that this is her reward. Shounen says he doesn't mind. By the way, they are a family, so, of course, they should share the good things together. At this moment, Tiabal asks about a family with a surprised expression. And after this action, Uncle Lee was proud of the boy. Wang Bin gives more rewards for the daily work, and adds much more work, making the children very happy. Meow, worried, asks the young man if there is really enough food to eat, and he says he has enough. At this moment, Meow thinks of something curious because Prota's bag is full of food. It is always full the next day after being emptied, leaving doubts about where he gets so much food. Although she wants to know, this may be his secret, so it's better not to be curious and intrusive. Chia Bao asks Wang Bin how many zombies he plans to kill, and his brother Nan says he will kill all of them. With that, Wang tells them to be quiet and just watch his performance in silence. From then on, he shot at her, and they spent the night training against these zombies. Several zombies are shown on the ground, and the bandits comment that they have been shooting since the morning, having very strong firepower. The leader, sweating, says not to worry because they will attract more and more zombies, and their bullets will run out sooner or later. Many zombies appear, thrown on the ground, and Wang is already exhausted and asks for a massage. Guan suggests practicing with him. On the contrary, if he continues practicing like this, he will become very tired. But he says there is no need and that he can handle these zombies and that they will be very useful to him. Xiaobao asks why these zombies are used for him, and he replies that it's to practice with the weapon, and if she didn't notice that his headshot rate is getting higher and higher. Then, the younger brother Nan says that Wang is worthy of being his idol and that he counted how many zombies he killed, being more than 300. Wang, in his thoughts, says that he can only count on himself to update the system, so he has to kill the zombies, and if he gets tired, he just rests. The next morning, Wang left everyone still on vacation, eating, drinking, and resting, while he continued to kill zombies. Because of the shots, another wave of undead was attracted, but this allowed him to continue gaining experience and updating the system. A system warning appears and congratulates Wang. The master shooting skill was updated to level 4, increasing the shooting accuracy rate to 150 points, the critical rate to 150 points as well, and the shooting distance to 350 meters. Now, for the next update, he needs to kill 10,000 zombies. During these few days of shooting practice, besides the bonus of the master shooting skill, Wang's shooting level has already surpassed that of police officer Miao. With the bonus of this skill, the weapon turned into a precision rifle in his hand. Wang says they have been surrounded for the last 7 days, but at least this gave him a chance to improve his skills, an unexpected gain. The young man then grabs a box and says that here are all the things he brought this time, and everyone is surprised by the things in there. Miao comments that they admire the fact that he talks about having enough every time she remembers saving, having enough to eat until he returned. Wang, with his hand on his chest, says to eat at ease and take care of themselves during these 7 days, promising to come back with more delicacies in 7 days. The young man says that after so much time living together, he believes everyone has already realized that he can bring and leave food for everyone, but these foods need to be exchanged for gold and precious jewels. Although the jewels and gold are nothing compared to survival supplements, he has a way to make them valuable and will explain it to them at the right time. Guan tells him not to worry and that he will certainly keep it a secret. Miao also says that no matter what this method is, since he has helped them a lot, they will definitely keep it a secret. Brother Nan says something funny, that even if there are hundreds of weapons pointed at him, he will never reveal his secret. Wang Bin says there is no need to be so serious, and finally, he says he needs to go because there are still many zombies downstairs, so just leave them as caretaker. Already at night in the real world, there are 2 men with watermelons on the street, and Wang appears in the bushes. He turns on his cell phone to see what has happened recently, otherwise, he won't be able to keep up with the news. Looking at the missed calls, the boy says that it must be from his friends. However, he notices that there is a missed call from his ex-girlfriend, Zhao Qian. Wang Bin wonders what she wants with him and if she was abandoned and maybe wants to come back. Walking, he says he won't call Scorja. First, he will ask Hongfei about the store. At home, he talks to his friend Hongfei on the cell phone. Hong asks where he was and why he couldn't talk to him on the phone. Wang replies that he went out to do some things and that the signal there was not very good, so he didn't receive his call. Then he asks Hongfei if the police are looking for him, but he says no, and what do they want from him? Wang says he hit Dong, from Gangaru, and is afraid they will call the police and go after his friend. Hong then tells him not to worry and that they will be hated by people on the street if they ask the police for help. Changing the subject, Hong Fei says that he and Xing Ping are almost finishing the store. Prota says it's okay and that he just wanted to ask something, but since it's already very late, he says they should go out tomorrow and talk about it. When he hangs up, Zhao Qian calls Wang and he answers. He asks the girl if she is looking for him, and she says she heard he injured a member of the Heihu gang with a weapon, and if that was true. Prota asks her if it was true, even because she doesn't decide what he does. Zalkia then says that he was just trying to be kind and trying to warn him. She starts to say that she knows he betrayed her and that she won't ask him for forgiveness. However, when she was going to say something else, he says that she made a big mess and that she should take care of herself from now on. The boy also asks if it wasn't a young Master Li who said that to her, and she says yes. Zhao Qian says that although he was surprised when he found out that Wang was armed, neither he nor the Heihu gang intend to let the young man go without making the exchange. With that, Zhao Qian starts whispering because young Master Li is after her. She says it seems like her boyfriend is asking a hitman to deal with Wang and to be careful. The girl then says that he is back and that she will stop talking to Prota for now. Wang, in his thoughts, wonders why Zalkian is suddenly so kind and that although the Master of Fire skill has reached level 4, it is not feasible to use firearms in this world. The young man comments that since he cannot use firearms, the fire hand skill will not be enough against the hitman. Then he calls the system to play the lottery because he needs to improve the fire hand as quickly as possible, and the lottery is the fastest way to do that. Wang has 150 gold gems left in the system space, which is only enough for one play, but he soon says that if he doesn't get anything good, he will get 1,000 gold gems in the basement to use in the 10 draws in a single play. He adds that he will then recover this amount of gold in the other world. The system warns that Wang does not need to be discouraged and that the system can be upgraded again with just 1,000 gold, 50,000 gold gems. After the upgrade, the system will activate the shopping system. Wang asks if the system can simply exchange gold and jewels for goods, and the answer is yes. The protagonist then places his hand on the lever and says he will pull it once. No matter what he gets, he is to stop immediately. Then deposit 50,000 gold gems to upgrade. He finally pulls and apparently lands on the skill book. Wang is happy, saying that he finally got lucky. A skill called Crossing the River quickly appeared. This skill increases agility by 5 points. After successful cultivation, the body becomes as light as a swallow and can cross a large river very quickly. Currently, using it, the Protoss can cross up to 3 meters in a single step or jump 2 meters high, consuming 10 points of internal strength per second. To advance to the next level, he will need to use this skill 100 times. The system also informs that the value of internal strength is formed according to the number of spiritual attributes, and each point of spiritual value equals 10 points of internal strength. Wang Bin's attributes are shown, and he says that, except for spiritual power, his attributes have been increased to a normal level for the end time. After that, he says he will test this skill. On the street, the young man comments that it is 5 kilometers to the city and wants to see how long it takes to run there. He gets ready and shoots off, saying he feels very light. Guys, just a detail I didn't want to overlook. Master Roshi and Naruto appear in an image. Will Wang Bin train with them? Joking aside, Wang Bin comments that it took him only 9 minutes to run 5 kilometers, 2 minutes per kilometer. At this moment, Wang Bin hears bullies threatening people for being in a place under the control of the Heihu gang. The man apologized for being there, as he did not even know it was the gang's territory. The bully responds that those who do not know are not guilty, but the man will have to pay the area fee now. Wang wonders if this Heihu gang is the same as Dong's last time, and says that they also collect insurance premium, but it seems more like shady business. Back to the present, a bald man intervenes and tells the blonde man that he is too impulsive and should not scare the elderly. The same bald man tells him to pay the area fee, and the old man says he does not need it, and this will be revealed now. Wang Bin comments that this gang seems to be quite famous and has been doing evil in this area for a long time. The bald man puts his hand on the old man's shoulder and says that this would be an insult. He adds that he looks at the daughter as if she were his sister and that, even with the school uniform, she is already too mature. The old man approaches her with his hand and asks the girl to let him help her, to see if she has taken many hormones. The old man shouts at him not to do that and that she is underage, calling him a fool. The guys then hold the girl, and the protagonist, furious, walks towards them, saying that they dare to do this in broad daylight and wonders if there are still laws. When the bald man was almost there, someone held his hand. It was an old man who claimed to be a great man, intimidating the old men and bothering a young girl. Being a waste of a man, the bully, furious, asks if the old man knows who he is and that if he doesn't let go, his head will explode. The old man, very calm, tells him to try, but something strange happens because the bald man says he can't use his energy. The henchmen start to talk, telling the bald man to blow the old man's head off at once. And Wang comments that the others can't see it, but he can vaguely see. It's not that Zhang doesn't want to move, but because he can't. The old man, calm, asks why the gangster is no longer barking and where the energy he had to explode his head is. After that, the bully tells his henchman to help him punch the old man, and the blonde guy throws a punch, but the old man just says that the blonde boy is immature. The boy gets so scared that he wonders if the old man uses black magic because hitting his face is like hitting cotton, not working at all. Smiling, the old man tells the young man that we are already in the 21st century and that today's youth forget all about their ancestors. But to sum up, This is kung fu. Then he uses a crazy technique and sends 2 of them flying, and the old man is strong, you know. The guys flew 2 meters away. Wang Bin is impressed by this and calls the old man amazing. The bald man tells the old man what he wants him to know, like how terrible it is to offend the Heihu gang, and orders everyone to attack the old man. 2 men are armed, and the blonde man advances first. But, obviously, he is also the first to be hit, taking a slap in the face. The other also takes 2 blows to his arm. This gang is apparently bald, because there is only one bald man here. Continuing, the first one comes out with the object, and Wang Bin also hits him. The old man is surprised and wonders if this could be the most symbolic and superior art of Shaolin, the powerful Vajrapam. He adds that Wang seems young but has a lot of power. After the gang's defeat, the people who were watching are happy with the outcome, and Wang asks if the old man is okay. The father of Antes, who was being beaten, thanks him for saving him and his daughter and asks how they can repay him. The kung fu master talks to the father and daughter, saying that this time they offended the gang and fears they won't let it go easily. Therefore, it's not up to him to open a bank here in the future. While the thugs run, the bald man, scared, yells not to stay behind. Wang Bin, behind him, asks if he doesn't want to run after spilling his guts because he hasn't been hit enough yet. The bully begs for forgiveness, and Wang, in his thoughts, says that after offending them this time, they will certainly come after him again, so he will scare them this time. The boy says he knows this is the territory of their Heihu gang, but they can no longer intimidate people like this. With that, the bald man says he won't do it anymore and asks which sect Wang and the old man belong to. The young man replies that he doesn't belong to any sect gang but to remember his name, Wang Bin. Wang turns around and tells the old man he doesn't know, but the old man says the bald man doesn't have the right to hear his name, so he will tell him after he leaves. The young man then warns the gangster that the old man told him to leave, but he remembers the young man's name and wonders if it's not him Mr. Wang is talking to. Dong had to deal with this before. The bald man learned that he was not only good at kung fu but also shot Mr. Dong with a gun, which put him in the hospital. After these memories, Wang Bin says again that the old man told him to leave, and the terrified bald man kneels and says he is leaving now. The man from before calls Wang and says he offended the Heihu gang, so they certainly won't let him go easily, so it's better to hurry. The young man thanks for the warning and says he will retire. The old man also asks Wang if he could have a cup of tea since an old man like him is already sitting in one place, and they are talking. The old man says that, in his opinion, the young man has already cultivated his powerful Vajrapam to level 2 and soon asks how old he is. Wang Bin says he is 21 years old and is still a university student. The old man says he admires him for practicing such deep kung fu at 21. Wang also says he admires the skill demonstrated by the old man a little while ago, and that it was really perfect Tai Chi. The master then says he has a request to make, and could he accept it? Wang Bin says that if it is something he can do, he will accept it without problem. The master's request is to fight with his taiji against the protagonist's Vajrapam, but the young man says it cannot be done because his Vajrapam is vigorous and brutal, capable of easily hurting people. The master says not to worry, as his taiji is not weak and the boy will not be able to hurt him. Finally, he says to just fight and consider it a good exchange of martial arts tips. The boy then says he will be grateful for his advice and, in his thoughts, says that now he also feels what is happening with the master. He adds that he also wants to compete with the elderly man and that he does not need to give his best.